Nelly. Where you at there, Nelly? There you go. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great show lineup for you this morning. Good morning, Donnie, as I hope and I pray that we always do. But before we go any further, I got to tell you who I am. I'm not important, I'm just Raheem. But this is my brother right here with me, though. You see him on the screen, my brother from another mother, but we got the same father. This is Captain Leonard. Good morning, Captain Leonard. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem and the Morning Glow family.
Man, we got some things going on this morning, Leonard. But before we go there, I always got to stop by. I got to stop by, knock on your door, man, and find out what's going on in the political world. Is anything going on, man? Has anything changed, or is still just as crazy as it's always been?
Well, it's just as crazy as it always been. Of course, most of the stuff that dominates politics right now, of course, is this war.
Mm-hmm.
However, I need for people to be a lot more concerned about midterm elections
Mm-hmm.
and making sure that they're prepared to vote. Remember, the fight for voting rights and participating never ends.
Yes.
It's what is called as a civic duty
Mm-hmm.
as well. So if you are a citizen of the United States, there's no bigger role to play than to participate in voting.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
democracy. That's what it's
Mm-hmm.
about.
Mm-hmm.
Democracy. You cannot accomplish the things that you want, the things that you have, the things that you hope to accomplish without democracy.
And let me ask you this question right here. And I know what a lot of people are gonna say to this or how they feel about this, but to some level, is it almost like a civic duty that everybody let their voice be heard?
Yes, that's what I said. It's civic duty.
Okay.
That's why people come here.
Mhm.
People come here to be citizens of the
Mhm.
United States because of the opportunities that are available to them.
Mhm.
The opportunity to participate in government, for one,
Mhm.
the opportunity to establish communities, take care of your children, earn opportunities for gainful employment, education, and those types of things. They're
Mm.
not coming over here to hang out on the beach
Yeah.
and play and
Mm.
go on vacation.
Mhm.
They're
Come on.
coming over here to change their entire lives
Mhm.
while
Mhm.
you've been here.
Yeah. Leonard, and let me do this. I want to say good morning to some people. Good morning, Donnie. Good morning, Rodney. Good morning. I missed a few of y'all. Vu. I missed a few of y'all, but good morning to each and every one of y'all. Glad you all joined us this morning. And if you want to be a part of the conversation, you certainly could do that. All you have to do is dial 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521, and you could reach right in here where we are. Reach out and touch us almost, and access and or talk about whatever's on your heart. Mr. C, good morning to you. Leonard, why is it that so many people? Why is it that so many people take that option right there to vote? Why do they, so many people take it for granted and don't take up the opportunity or advantage of the opportunity to cast their vote?
People have all types of reasons for not doing it
Mm-hmm.
or failing to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost trifling to say,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you act like you love Black history and the accomplishments of all these people who fought for this and fought for your rights and took all these beatings and everything, but you
Mm-hmm.
don't go vote.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Because what they were fighting to accomplish and laid their lives down for, you completely disrespect.
Yeah.
You steal their story for your own purpose
Mm.
and you exploit it for your own purpose.
Mm.
And you don't care nothing about what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
At least some people don't even thank the ancestors for that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times when I hear all these quote new woke Negroes,
Mm-hmm.
where you been? What
Mm-hmm.
have you been doing? You know,
Mm,
what is it about responsibility that you don't want to take part in?
mm-hmm.
Especially when you know we could win.
Yeah.
Why you don't want to help us win?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very suspect of people that way.
Is it a disrespect as well as a disregard
No,
of?
I just think it's unconcerned.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are defeated.
Mm, mm-hmm. Wow.
Some people have adopted the inferiority complex.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually the issue. It's like my mother used to say when she was trying to prove a point. The point is that would be too much like right, and for some reason
Mm,
you have a problem doing right.
wow.
That's your problem.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even want to do right.
Mm.
Some people just don't want to do it.
Yeah, yeah. I can agree with you 110%. I don't understand it because I've been voting for years, man, and
Man, come on.
I've been voting, yeah, and every time I vote, majority of the time when I vote, I put that little sticker on and I come on here and let people see, okay, yeah, I did. I went and I voted, and I'm not gonna tell you who I voted for, but I tell you who I didn't vote for. Good morning,
Right.
Cassandra. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Cassandra, we're talking this morning at this point about our voting. Why do you think, Cassandra, so many people take it for granted and don't take the opportunity or take full advantage of their rights to vote and voice their opinion?
Yeah, but a lot of people really do not understand how important their vote is.
Mm-hmm.
All I keep hearing from people when I talk to them about voting, those that don't vote, is it ain't gonna do no good. They're gonna do what they want to do, and yeah, they're gonna do it, and they're gonna continue to do what they want to do because people like you are making those. I don't want to say ignorant. Well, it is ignorant
Mm-hmm.
because that means you don't understand what voting does.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that I mean it disturbs me, but that is the answer, the number one answer that I get. It doesn't matter because they're going to do what they want anyway.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, like you said, Cassandra, if you voice your opinion and you cast your vote, they won't be in office to do anything anyway.
Absolutely, but that's not the way I don't ignorant people see it. For some,
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
I do not get it. People really, a lot of people really believe that your voting doesn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care whether it's local or federal, whatever. They believe they're going to do what they want anyway. Who's they, first
Mm-hmm.
of all? And I've asked that question.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what the answer to that is.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, Leonard, when people have that mindset or take that approach to things, does that mean that they've already given the victory to the other side, the people that don't have their best interest at heart anyway, because they didn't take the time to go out there and vote?
We know that they don't care.
Mm,
We know that they don't care when you don't participate. You
mm,
you can't be trusted when you don't support doing what's right. You can't be trusted,
mm-hmm.
and that's just how it is. I mean, some people, like I say, you can have all your emotion you want. You can make all these great speeches, get on the microphone talking about black power, black this, black that, but then don't vote. Go sit
Mm-hmm.
down somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Go sit down somewhere. You looking for some glory, not
Yeah,
change.
exactly. And Cassandra, that led me to this question right here. Now, if a person say that they're very active and they're activist and they're fighting for all these causes, and y'all get into a conversation at one point or another about voting, and they say, "Well, I don't vote. I don't vote." Do you look at them a little differently?
Absolutely, because why are you doing any type of activism or advocacy if you're not voting? It doesn't even make sense.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't even make sense. And I'll be totally honest. A lot of the younger people, like with the thousands of people. that I have marched with young people in, for different causes, right?
Uh-huh.
And you start talking to them about voting, oh my God, it's like you just pulled out, I don't know, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
the elephant in the room,
Yeah. Yeah.
because they're not voting. And the same reason I told you is the same reason they give me. It ain't gonna do no good because the government gonna do what they want to do.
Mm.
What? Really?
Mm.
Really?
Mm. Wow. Wow.
That that's the mentality. But they're out there marching for change.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Do you think they weigh that differently, Leonard? The marching, they weigh that differently as more of an impact than voting? I mean, I don't get that. I don't understand that part. What do you say to that?
Well, first of all, lack of discipline,
Mm-hmm.
lack of understanding what it is you're doing and why you're doing it. It's like walking around singing a song that you don't understand the words.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm.
understand what I'm saying? Yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
like the beat. You like the beat and you shaking your tail, but
Mm-hmm.
you don't even know what the words mean to the
Mm-hmm.
song. And then you'll go so far to emulate the ignorance, mispronounce all the words and everything. You
Wow.
learn the freaking song.
Mm-hmm.
Learn the song.
Mm-hmm.
What's so hard about that? That's simple responsibility. That's why I cringe when I hear people talking about investing everything in young people. What about their
Mm-hmm.
immaturity, their inability to lead, their lack of experience?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You understand me? They
But
hot and cold folk. They hot. They ain't been around long enough to know that you need to be consistent.
yeah, exactly. But is that one of the reasons and the responsibility of quote unquote the old heads?
Yes,
Call it.
and the thing about it is you can't shove it down their throats.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't be mad if you have not led by example.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's good. That's good. Cassandra, what do you say to that, man? And he says some, and he's right. Some of the young folks, man, they shoot, they just shooting in the wind. They're not looking for a target because they don't know anything about a target. Secure this victory right here before you try to go out there and just do all the other things. They shoot into the wind and lose all their bullets, and then when it's come time for the real fight, they have no ammunition. What do you say to that? Is that out the old heads' responsibilities to teach them the right way?
Oh, I do believe that it's our responsibility to teach them. But these kids, a lot of these kids today, they don't want to hear it.
Mm,
They are self. I think I said, I know I said it on the panel one day when we were marching downtown,
mm-hmm,
and we were talking about voting, and how it ties in actually with the marching and us
mm-hmm,
making our voice heard. I said it's the same principle.
mm-hmm,
Only thing, the vote will actually do something to make a change. And this guy was like, "Oh, y'all old heads." That's exactly what he said.
mm,
He said, "Y'all old heads need to step back and let us do what we do." Blah 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 blah. And he went into this long speech, I guess, because all of the attention now was on him, and I presume that's what he wanted.
mm-hmm,
And man, I shred him.
mm.
I shred him. I mean, I shredded him. I mean, because you, first of all, I ain't no old head. I mean, I'm old, but
mm-hmm.
I
He,
didn't even know what that meant at first.
mm-hmm.
I was like, is he just calling me old or what? What
Yeah.
is that? But yeah, but you can't be afraid. See, too many people are afraid to talk to our young people.
Yeah.
I will talk to them. I don't care
Mm-hmm.
what the situation is, and I'm gonna let myself be known. Now, if you cuss me out, you cuss me out. Because if you that disrespectful, I don't have no use for you anyway.
Yeah.
So it don't matter.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But yes, we have to be the one. The Bible even says that the older ones should teach the younger ones.
Mm-hmm. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We love to have your input. We love to have your input on what we're talking about today. And right now, we're talking about voting and who should vote, who should not vote. And my thing is, everybody, if you have the right to vote, you should vote. Leonard, let's turn a page or two and talk about a person that has a felony. Should they have the right after they've done everything they need to do? They've done their time. They've done all the requirements that's asked of them. They've done it. should they have the right to vote across the board? I know some states do give it to them, but across the board, should they have the right?
Of course, by all means necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody should have bills right now to restore voting rights to felons.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially in, like, say for instance, there are just not voted people who are sponsoring legislation for voters' rights who were felons.
Mm-hmm.
People who own prisons want it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know why? Because in a lot of places where you have prisons, the number of inmates are the majority of the population.
Mm-hmm.
So if I could get, say for instance, now you ain't even paid your debt to society. They
Yeah.
don't want to give it to you after you paid your debt.
Mm-hmm.
But if they find out a way that they can use you, oh yeah, they all on board then, because the vote matters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you can
Mm-hmm.
count my prisoners, remember? Like
Yeah.
you used to count my slaves
Mm-hmm. Tell the truth.
for your own purpose and representation.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, you're not gonna represent my interests.
Mm.
That's the thing about it. You have to vote your interest.
Yeah.
Get with whoever's running and say they want to represent that interest and hold them to it.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's good. That's good. Brother Pete, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Doing good, DKM radio panelists and audience. Morning Glow, how y'all doing this morning?
Hey, doing good, doing good. Pete, right now we're talking about voting. Should everybody that has the right to vote go out there and cast their vote, or should they be like it's been said earlier? Some people just feel as though, and some of the young people that be out there fighting, activists and all this stuff, the activists they're out there fighting, they're marching and doing all these things, but for whatever reason, they don't see the importance of voting. Why do you think that is?
Because of what you just said. I mean, it's
Talking to your
the
phone, Pete.
vote.
You're a little bit low, brother. You're a little bit low.
Your vote is your voice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your opinion
Yes.
and your perspective on how you would like for things to go and who you want to be your representative with your concerns, your issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, registering is a whole nother concept, so I'm not even going to get into that. So those that are into other aspects of society and how they conduct their affairs and their positioning, they look at that totally different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But now, normally speaking, every day, if you're able to vote and you're concerned about, you have issues, just your everyday life. I mean, the laws, the rules, the statutes, the codes, the bills that are passed,
Mm-hmm.
the way things function, consumer citizens' rights.
Mm-hmm.
That's all based off of who you elect and who is able to be a sponsor for a bill and get it through committee and pass.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to do that, you have to participate in the voting process.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
if we're complaining about the lack of the George Floyd bill they wanted to bring about,
Mm-hmm.
well, then everybody that wants that needs to vote, elect folks who will push it and, stay engaged and basically ensure that that's passed.
Yeah.
You have to participate in the system in order to make sure that happens.
Exactly.
You can't propose something like that from outside and scream and holler and think that that's going to get it done. It's not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. And let me say that what we're talking about. You're listening to this is the Morning Glow. This is the Morning Glow. We're here every day, Monday through Friday, from 7 o'clock until 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what we're talking about this morning, we're talking about voting. We're talking about voting. And Cassandra, I'm gonna come to you and ask you this question. Same question I asked a second ago. If a person has paid their debt to society, they paid their debt, they've done their time, they're a felon, they've done their time, they've all the requirements that are asked of them by the court system, they've completed each and every one of those. Should they, across the board, now some states do give them the right to vote, but across the board, should they be given the right to vote? Cassandra, what do you say to that?
First of all, I know that was a suppression and oppression move for them to even say that a person that went to prison and served their time,
Mm-hmm.
and they saying you paid your debt. No, I have not paid my debt to society if you will not let me do the very basic
Mm-hmm.
vote. But you say that now I'm supposed to be a part of the citizenship of that particular country. There
Mm-hmm.
is something asinine about that to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get that. So yeah, I think it is the worst. One of the worst things that a state does is prevent people that have paid their debt to society to participate in one of the most basic parts of being a part of that society.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. I agree with you. And Leonard, the thing about it is they'll tell them that they can't vote. You can't vote. You can't vote. But at the same time, you have to continue to pay your taxes now. Make sure you pay your taxes. Leonard, is that a somewhat of a double standard, or could that be considered a double standard?
Excuse me. No, I don't think it's considered a double standard. I think it's really a strategy to disenfranchise individuals.
Mm.
And so that's why you have to understand. That's one of the reasons. I used to make fun of people who were just, man, just misguided about certain things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I ain't never known a criminal committing a crime was worried about losing his right to vote.
Yeah. Yeah. Fact.
I never.
Fact.
Or I never known a person that was a deterrent to crime, that they
Mm-hmm.
would lose their right to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Now, losing these rights should be important to people,
Mm-hmm.
because think about it. These people, it's not important to them when they commit crime. So if you threaten them by taking away their right to vote, does that deter crime? No,
Not at all. No.
not at all.
It
It
is
don't really deter crime. It's a
no.
punishment.
Mm-hmm.
But once you've paid the debt for whatever it is that you did, your rights should be restored.
Mm-hmm.
Those rights should be restored. But then, of course, there's another great argument, if we wasn't talking about voting, for not restoring certain rights. But I don't
Mm-hmm.
think voting should be one of them.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. Okay. Pete, what do you say to that, brother? What's on your heart, man? They've done everything they need to do. Should they be allowed to vote? Should they be allowed to go out there and have their rights restored if they paid their debt to society? What do you say to that?
Once you paid your debt, are the books clear?
Yes, sir. It's supposed to be.
Is the accounting even out?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's what they say.
So then why would we withhold someone's rights or ability to participate in the overall functioning of a society
Mm-hmm.
if their debt to that society has been paid in full?
Mm-hmm.
That's letting us know that there's something else afoot.
Yes, sir.
There's something else going on. There's no way you can tell me that Leonard is charging me $2,000 and I pay him $2,000 and yet he's still holding me for $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I got the receipt right here where you say you received the money you
Mm-hmm.
pay in full.
Mm-hmm.
What more do I owe you?
Yeah. Come on.
So it's something else afoot.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we start getting off into the gray areas and the power and the control. If a person's debt is paid to society, then they should be able to go back and further participate in the full function of that society.
Mm-hmm.
Let's draw on Oliver North and his egregious involvement in heinous behavior.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
I believe he was restored fully.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Come on now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
These are the treasonous acts that qualify life in prison or the death penalty. And if I'm not mistaken, he's alive. He's well. He's on TV. He's wealthy, and he participates in the full function of the society.
Mm-hmm.
Something else is going on.
Something else is going on. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We love to have your input. We're talking about voting right now. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Yeah, I agree with Pete and with Leonard, and especially when Leonard, he hit a key when he said it's to disenfranchise certain people, and that's exactly, I believe that with all my heart, that it is to keep, because those, boy, a lot of the people that are in prison have more, I want to say, liberal views. I have found that. I don't know whether Pete or Leonard have ever paid attention to that, but most of them are like Democrats. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They're Democrats. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know. I don't want to be presumptuous and say that is to, to keep that group of people, Democratic minded people from voting. But it dang sure sounds like it to me. It seems like it to me. I may be wrong.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. Charles, good morning. How you doing this morning?
What up, man? What's going on?
We're talking about voting, man. And Charles, if a person has paid their debt to society, they paid it, they committed a felon, they're a felon, they paid the debt to society, and all the requirements that the court has put forth. After that point, should they and I want to say that some states do allow them to vote, but should across the board they should be able to vote again and have their right to vote after they paid their debt to society. Charles, what do you say to that?
Yes, most definitely. They paid their
Mm-hmm.
debt to society.
Mm-hmm.
So I think all their rights should be returned.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they paid their debts, if they're paid the debts to society and it's every stipulation has been met within a certain amount of time, I think all their rights should be returned.
Mm-hmm.
And even if, and I don't know who was just speaking, they said that if to be Democrats missing votes or something like that, or not, I didn't really get what she was saying. I didn't hear it. I just got on, but I think they should be returned to vote. And I look at the Republican Party as being stupid for not backing that up if they don't back it, because what they should be standing on is that most of these policies were Democrat policies that put them in jail.
Mm-hmm.
From Democrat cities and Democrat states and Democrat mayors and Democrat areas. So whether federal or state, because it's two different prison systems, a Fed prison system and it's a state prison system. But both of them, once they finish their sentence, and then I guess whatever after their sentence, you have to be square for a while, and then you get your rights back. In some places, it's like that. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Absolutely, absolutely.
7 years. Matter of fact, me and Mike was talking about it. 7 years, they should get everything back if they swear for 7 years.
Wow, wow. Rico, good morning. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Man, I can't complain, man. Welcome to a beautiful new day, everybody.
Hey, welcome to you as well, brother. Welcome to you as well, man. What do you say to this situation? Should they be allowed? They paid all their debts, Rico. They've done their time. Yes, they're felon. They've done their time. Everything that the court required them to do, they've done that, and possibly even a little bit more. Should they be allowed to vote across the board?
Yes, they feel their obligations. And to be honest with you, those rights shouldn't have never been taken. To be honest with you, they probably should even be able to vote while they're in prison. The thing is, once they get out of prison, they still exposed and vulnerable to everything that goes on in this planet, in this country, in this state, in this city, wherever they live. They can go through the exact same thing that any other human being is going through. And nobody gonna say, well, you know what? I ain't gonna rob this man's family because he went to prison. They might say, well, I'm gonna rob him because he ain't got no gun in the house. He was a felon. And he better not have a weapon around him. He's an easy free pick. So yeah, they deserve the right to have to bear arms. They deserve the right to vote because everything still applies to them. They have to pay the same taxes. They have to stop at the same stop sign.
Yeah.
They have to, you know what I'm saying? Every law still applies. And they should have a right to have a say-so in them laws. But once again, I think I heard you ask the question earlier about the younger generation and the activists. I don't write them all the way off because I know how misinformation and disinformation works. And we had a conversation last night about the war and how we've been informed and only receive what the news tells us. And you hear these younger people saying the vote doesn't matter. And I understand where they're coming from with that, just like you have people that vote Republican because they say the Democrats was for slavery. See, we live in a microwave society that doesn't really even want to go back and learn the history properly. They ain't got time to really go and do no research. They're going to listen to the most recent thing and say, ooh, look at that. Bingo. Guess what I just learned? And they're going to run with it. But what really bothers me is the younger generation. They refuse to listen to you when you were trying to correct them. Once they hear that the Democrats were the ones that wanted slavery, they stuck at that. They don't want to hear you say nothing about the Dixiecrats. So, you know, when you talk about the elders and the ancestors that died for them to have rights to do this and that, they don't want to hear that. The only thing they want to think about is the most recent thing. What has the government done for us? So we have a situation within our community where people really are misinformed. And it goes back to things I used to say about a year ago. And I used to say we dropped the ball. A few people used to be like, well, I don't think we dropped the ball. How are you going to say we dropped the ball? Well, we dropped the ball because if the children were more informed, especially not just being dependent on being educated by the school and the news, we wouldn't have these conversations about why they are not voting. See, my grandmama is the one that taught me and told me about what the struggle was, the reason why I stayed adamant about being involved in politics and paying attention to what's important. If it was for my mama and daddy, I'd probably be one of them running around here talking about some man voting a waste of time.
Exactly. Toussaint, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning, my brothers and my sisters.
Toussaint, we talking.
What are we doing today? I'm excited.
Yes, sir. I can hear it in your voice, brother. We're talking about voting. We're talking about voting and a person that has they had a felony. They committed a crime. They went to prison, did all their time. Everything that is required to them of the court system, they've done it and they've met it. Toussaint, should they be able to vote after that? Should they be able to go and vote and have the right restored to vote again?
I believe they should. They said, didn't you say they served their time?
Yes.
Yeah. There's a penalty for crime, right? And once you are charged with that crime, convicted, and you serve it, that should be it.
Yes, sir.
They can't go back and get you. So if you, because there are some people now that go to and they learn their lesson, and they are willing to be good, wholesome citizens. Why not? I mean, but there's a trick to the system. That's just one more of the target. And I hate to say that because somebody said, there they go with that targeting people thing. Ain't nobody targeting nobody. But check the system, how it's been going for the longest. There's a voter suppression to all costs. I'm not too bright. I don't even like politics. I don't even care. I really don't.
Yeah.
But as a citizen, I vote. And I know that, you know, sooner or later, if I, you know, cast my vote, it works. You know, if we're consistent. But as far as the subject that you're talking about, yeah, I believe so. But you know, we just won't let that happen. I was listening to Rico, and that made sense. I wanted to, and now we will now have our offering. I'm curious to find out what direction this gonna go because I still got my tissue from yesterday.
Lord. Cassandra, what's on your heart? Charles, coming to you next.
Man, oh man, I don't know. Our system of doing things in certain areas is so, and it's targeted, and we can act like it ain't targeted, and we can act like it, you know, but it's targeted. They know exactly who not voting is going to hurt the most. They and we can say, well, then they shouldn't get in trouble. Yeah, but they got in trouble. They served their time, and now they should be allowed. I see it as institutionalized like the system itself, the
Mm-hmm.
prison system itself. I see it in the same vein, them not allowing ex-felons to vote. It's the same as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
It's a system. It's something that is in place to disenfranchise and stop certain groups or hinder certain groups from voting the way that they could.
So it's basically it's by design. It's by design that this happens.
Like everything else here in
Mm-hmm.
this country,
Okay.
by design.
Wow. Wow. Charles, what's on your heart, brother? Charles, are you there? Curtis, good morning. How you doing this morning?
How you doing, right here?
Hey,
How
doing
you
good.
doing?
Curtis,
Morning.
we're talking about voting right now. We're talking about voting, and should a person that has committed the crime, felon, they're a felon, they do their time, serve all their time, get out, everything that the courts require. You know, they always give you the other things that you have to do once you get out. They meet all those qualifications. Should they be allowed, Curtis, to vote again?
Absolutely.
Why?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Cassandra said it right. That whole thing was another way of disenfranchising the vote.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? The thought is that most ex-cons, if that's what you want to call them, I don't really like using that terminology. But the thought is most ex-cons vote Democratic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually far from the truth, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
That is by far probably the most bipartisan voting bloc in America. And one of the most studied voting blocs in America.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? For the most part, their entertainment is TV and news. That's how they stay connected, you know, for the most part to the world. It's through the TV and watching the news. I mean, now, you know, you got cell phones, you know what I mean? You maybe can go on Google or whatever. But yeah, that, like Cassandra said, that was just a major push to disenfranchise what they thought or what they think is the Democratic vote.
Mm. Wow. 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 Charles, you back with us?
Yeah, I'm back, man.
Okay.
Out here in this bad area.
I got you. I got you. What's on your heart, brother?
I being I'm a felon,
Mm-hmm.
ex-convict. So most where I was at in Georgia, I would say it could go either way, because one thing that a person who want to study in prison do is that they study.
Okay.
They will read all day if they want to. The other ones, the majority gonna BS around. That's the majority of what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
They gonna play cards and zoom zoom wham whams and gamble and prepare to come back. That's what they're doing. So, as of them, what I think with either party, man, like if you all say most are Democrat, what I've always said, and I've told other Republicans, is that, hey, man, you got the right to go into the prisons and teach, just like a Democrat got the right to go into a prison and teach. And like I said, most cities, inner cities, are ran by the people who lock them up. You know what I'm saying? These guys, are populated in black areas, which are ran by black people, which are ran by black Democrats, which are ran by, black mayors, and you get this time. Same thing, happened in California. That's why, Kamala Harris didn't get the black vote, and because they knew what she did to black prisoners. You understand? That's why she lost California. That's one of the reasons why. Not the only, but one of them. So I think it's an open book, and I don't really think, I don't understand the suppression of vote if all you have to do is have an ID. If that's suppression, because Nobody talked about suppression of eating or suppression of going to places when you had to have an ID and a vaccine because you to go eat places or go to places. You had to have an ID and a vaccine badge. Just the past few months to go eat places, but they don't talk about suppression and racism when it comes to that. It's weird, but they talk about it for voting, but not that because you can't have a valid vaccine card and show it without showing your ID in places that you have to do that. In places that you have to do, you can't even get on an airplane without an ID. You can't. So I don't understand. You can't go to the liquor store. The liquor store is in the everyday going corner in the black neighborhoods without an ID. So I don't understand what's the problem about just having an ID. I don't get it, man. I guess it's just me, man. I never let a white person or think that I have to go bow down to them in order for me to be great. If the system is there to be beat, and I've been in the system all my life, then I'm gonna beat the system, and I'm gonna show other people how to beat the system.
Good deal. Good deal. Pete, what's on your heart, brother?
We sound like we include taxation without representation, which is paramount to a crime. Until America deals with its prestige, privilege, prejudice, and involving profit, we are going to continue to have these levels of imbalance. And at this point, at this stage, at this age, at this present time, this is completely nonsense and unacceptable. If we are to continue on as a society, the United States, USA, this country has to deal with the full systematic application and its historical root system of racism, prejudice, bias. It has to live up to the true mission statement and purpose of what it says it's for: liberty, freedom, and justice for all. A society of laws that are applied equally to all. And if when we see that, we continue the officer who shot Laquan McDonald served a quarter, 3 years. I gave him a 7-year sentence. He's out. Well, all of these egregious. The black farmer's been fighting for 30 years. You give them a recognition and an accommodation in law for payment, and then they still haven't received. How long? This is what we go back to what Harry Belafonte said. Burn it down. Burn it down. Just set the whole thing on fire. It's not making sense.
Yeah.
And then when you look at the January 6th, and I always twist it for us to look at it from a different angle, were those people going up there and saying to the government, this is the people's house? And we want to force you to understand and acknowledge that this is our house. We represent the people. So if this is our house, we can come in our house whenever we want to. We can check the papers out, sit in a chair. Is that what they were saying? Hey, I wasn't there. I didn't organize. But I'm saying, is that what they were saying? If they wasn't, let's just look at it like that for a second. And then you really see where we are in this society. We've been on the receiving end as melanated people the whole time on the bottom. We're the foundation for the foolishness, right, in this society. But it's hitting everybody now. It's hitting even the lower class Caucasian, European. They get ran over, slapped, and abused, and done a lot the same way now. Something wrong with the system.
Yeah.
It's not the people, it's the system. Some of the people that are running the system, absolutely. But if we're not going to live up to the mission statement of purpose of what we say this society is about, then what do we have? What we have now and worse. So maybe we need to all get some matches.
And prepare. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, we could get some matches, or we could just look right at the Amish community, at the best example of how to exist in this country and do just like them. They don't participate and indulge in everything that the United States has to offer. You know, a lot of the Quakers and these different people didn't agree with slavery. They was abolitionists. They was against the founders. You know, but the thing is we're dealing in a lot of distraction and misprogramming. And so when we have that issue going on from the very beginning of our education and knowledge and during our existence, it's hard to get out of that disorder. See, we would have more logic and pay more attention to the voting thing and understand the suppression if we actually had the elders or the knowledge of realizing in the past that some people had to count the jelly beans in a jar after they got their right to vote. And you start asking yourself, wait a minute, why are they creating these roadblocks and obstacles for people to just vote? And see, I paid attention to stuff like that, and it started adding up because they didn't want us to vote. So, you know, we were misprogrammed, miseducated, because the Constitution didn't say for all people excluding black people. If we would have got educated properly, we wouldn't right now be abiding by laws and rules that were not meant for us, but meant to exclude us. Benefits and rights for everybody, excluding black people. See, they didn't say it in writing, but they said it in action. So here it is. We see what's going on, but then we being taught something else and just abiding by it. My country, my country. My country? Oh, you've been really singing that song and putting your hand over your chest and pledging allegiance since you was 4 or 5 years old. Institutionalized. You know, I told you the other day, we could be institutionalized and not even be in prison. And just like how some people go to prison, they don't learn till they 30 or 40 years old and they grow up. Guess what black people doing? Waking up and growing up at 30 or 40, and then they starting to vote. Because we have been institutionalized with that same system, that same agenda. We did not realize, and we don't realize to this day, that everything that we abide by and everything that we fight for on behalf of this Constitution and Declaration of Independence, they just forgot to say the words, except black people.
Wow.
But the actions speak louder than words. So if we explained it as such and showed it to them by example, maybe they would have picked it up. But Curtis said it. They get the information from TV. So right now we run around here talking about some boo Russia, fight for Ukraine. Ukraine need democracy. We sounding so programmed and like a computer, man. We just repeating what we've been hearing from the good old United States. We bought into the program. We bought into a program and want to be a part of a program that was designed to benefit everybody but us.
Wow.
It just wasn't that right. And so that realization, we haven't woken up from it because we still believe in them words, but we ain't believing in the actions.
Wow. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother?
I think Rico just kind of took it out in the field, deep in the parking lot. You know, Pete just laid it out there that not only confirms but clearly justifies the need for folk to wake up. You know, like at this point here, you know, what's on my mind is, man, can't argue with a donkey. You hear me? Well, you know, I you know, I try my best to do my duty, make sure that folks are as awake as I possibly can. You know, but if you choose to sleep and slumber, then that's what you choose to do, man. Like I'm not really trying to put too much weight in the folks who choose to stay asleep. You know, because there's other folks out there that want to be awake. They want somebody to come and tap them, say, hey, man, come on now, get up, man. We got things to do. So, I mean, I wonder sometimes, you know, like, what are we going to do? Right? How are we going to progress? I don't even worry about when we're going to progress, because I think progress is, that's a given. That's going to happen. man is not going to want to stay at the current state that he's in, especially the black man. But I ask myself sometimes, how? What does that look like? You know?
That's good. That's good. Toussaint, talk to me, brother.
I was just looking at the Constitution, talking about all men are created equal. Let me ask the question. Let me get the here so you can hear it. I was just looking at the Constitution and this thing about all men are created equal. Let me ask a question. I don't know, and I'm not a historian. I'm not too bright, but did they have slaves when they wrote that?
Yes, sir.
Were everybody equal when they wrote that?
No, sir.
After they wrote it?
No, sir.
And how about now?
Absolutely not, sir.
Do you feel equal?
No, sir.
If you do something, and then the judge's son or the mayor's son, or I said something like that yesterday. I don't want to repeat that. But I'm talking about this Constitution that, just like Puerto Rico, we stand up. You're supposed to stand and put your hand on your chest. But you better not be in the wrong area at the wrong time. Or the right area at the right time or the wrong time. Whatever you want to say. Because and I know that there are some restaurants that they're going to treat you differently.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, you can't go to some churches. In the name of Jesus.
Come
hallelujah.
on.
Praise the Lord. Get that son of a gun out of here. I'm going to say something concerning
See the effect you got on these folks around here, Cassandra. See the effect you have on them. But let me go. Excuse me. Let me go to Badger. Badger, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Pretty good.
Badger, we're talking about voting, and if a person is a felon, they committed a felony. They've done all their time, all the requirements that the courts put forth for them to do. Now they're home. They've done all that. Should they be allowed to vote again? What do you say to that? Yes or no?
That's a tough one. I mean, I guess it depends on your point of view. Some will say yes, some will say no. I mean, at this point, if they're willing to vote, that's better than most of the population. Were you gonna say something?
No. I'm listening to you.
So it's just, it's to me, it's wild. The whole voting thing and stuff in between yesterday and today, I've just been listening to a lot of things, and some of them don't make sense.
Okay.
Because talking about voting and things like that, and if voting is possible, then how come people ain't voting to get the judge that is doing things like that out of the chair that they're in? Instead of just talking about it, do something.
Okay. That's good. That's good.
And that goes for everybody.
Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
I'm listening. Everybody has a different story, man. And one, I'm about progress and getting things done. I'm really not into how you feel at all, because it's not personal to me. I do what I need to do. I don't care if none of you make it. I still got to do what I got to do. I got a family to feed. That's what I'm concerned about. I'm not concerned about nothing that happened 400-500 years ago, because really it probably not going to put food on my table. But I will fight you today and every day after this day for what I want. And I don't care if no other person agrees with me. Now, if you just so happen to agree, then we may just so happen to be able to unify
Come
and
together.
fight the enemy together. But I'm fighting it with or without you. It ain't no we when it comes to my preservation. Do understand that.
Yeah.
And I don't have to buy into what you say or believe and feel the way you feel. But we will get the mission accomplished.
Absolutely.
But I don't even fool with people that ain't got no mission. You're gonna sit around and just jaw jack all day and woe is the Negro, miss me with that. Don't even invite me to the party. I won't be offended. But when this platoon is moving forward to go after this enemy, call me. I'll be in the front. Because that's my enemy.
So basically forget about the water color shitters. Let's get some.
Man, I ain't got nothing to do with all that. Why you ain't doing what you supposed to be doing and things. That's your business. That's your business. You can put all your personal crap behind and get yourself together to fight.
Wow.
Because sitting around laying on your side whining about it ain't helping nothing or nobody.
Good deal. Good deal. Charles, what's on your heart, brother?
Ditto that. Ditto everything Leonard just said. That's exactly how I feel.
God don't matter. Y'all two agreeing. Lord Jesus, what's really going on around here?
Exactly. You don't have to agree with me. I'm fighting the battle for me and my family.
You're breaking up, Charles. Must have been a bad area, brother. You're breaking up pretty bad. Charles, you're breaking up, man. Charles, you're breaking up, brother. I'm gonna keep this thing going. I'm gonna come back to you, brother. You're breaking up real bad. Let me go to Cassandra. And before I do that, Cassandra, let me do my birthday shout outs for today because I'm gonna go and get them out the way. We got quite a few people that have birthdays today. Bad Bunny, y'all might know him, the rapper, 28 years old today. Carrie Underwood, she is 39. Chuck Norris, 82 years old today. Let me go down my list here. Chuck Norris, that brother been in the game for a long time. Who else I got here? Conceited. A lot of y'all might know Conceited. That's a rapper. He's out there. Kiki Wyatt. Hold on. She's 40 years old. Kiki Wyatt is 40 years old. Timberland is 50 years old today. Sharon Stone, 64 years old today. Happy birthday to Miss Sharon Stone. Who else do I have? I think that might be. Let me see. I got a few more here. No, I ain't gonna do that. Jasmine Guy, she is 60. Wow, I didn't know Jasmine Guy was 60 years old. 60 years old today. Happy birthday to each and every one of you. And everybody that's listening to the sound of my voice, you don't have to be a celebrity for us to wish you a happy birthday. Hope you have a great birthday. Hope everything is fine. And I hope God bless you in a mighty way today. So because you're not on the celebrity list, don't mean you're not a celebrity. You're a celebrity to somebody. And to us, you are. So happy birthday to you as well. Go ahead, Charles. Charles, you there? Okay, Charles must be in a real bad area. Cassandra.
Yes, sir.
What's on your heart? And I'm gonna ask you a question on this, and then I'm gonna transition over to another question. So, what's on your heart right now?
Well, I was listening to everyone, and I was remembering a song that we sang in elementary school. They started singing it, I think, in kindergarten. God bless America, land that I love, and stand beside her and guide her.
Yes.
With the light from above, or whatever, however it goes. And I thought about, you know what? I really used to believe those songs. I declared, guys, as a kid, I loved singing the songs about America. I did. And as I got older and I saw that America didn't give a crap about me and my people, man, it hurt me. I'll be totally honest. It hurt me because I was like, wow, so this is what America is really about? It's really about disenfranchising and discrimination and racism and but when you're growing up in your neighborhood and that's all your people, that they're good people in your neighborhood. There are people that are working hard every day. And then as I got older and I started hearing people, all black people lazy, they ain't trying to do nothing. Boom, 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 boom. All I'm just want to lay around and be. I hate, man. I will fight you if you say that to my. I will literally fight you because I see mothers on the bus 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning when I used to be out there walking in their uniforms or whatever, heading to these minimal paying jobs, wouldn't even meet their needs, and sitting on the bus and the train, asleep, exhausted from working 2 jobs. And then Negroes got the nerve to say black people, they don't want to do any better. Shut the man, go somewhere.
Wow. You got to go to another topic, but we have somebody else just joined us. Terry. Terry, are you there? Terry, are you there? Okay, maybe Terry is not with us. So I'm gonna get Terry out of the video. And Terry, if you're available, come back in. And visit
Hey,
us.
Rodney.
Yes, sir.
Can we stick to that one for just a little longer, man? Because
yes, sir.
what Cassandra just said, man, if we're not careful, it'll get by us.
Yeah.
There's a basic thing that she really revealed, and that was the word when I was a child. And you know, I speak a lot about how young that computer is, that child, that brain, that computer, man, it takes in so much. That's when it's easiest to program with the basic things that they will take with them for the rest of their life. Because from the day that you start receiving information, those are things that are necessary for you to survive. So now imagine you surviving, believing America is like Superman at a young age. And you singing these nice tunes. Now we're going to play. Listen to what we already know about how music does. Music tunes that make you feel emotional and sympathetic and have you in all these different illusions about America. Patriotism. Now, you know, you said earlier that about activists that don't like to vote.
Yeah.
That's the reason why. Because a lot of people don't realize these children come home learning stuff that parents don't know about. My ancestors, my grandparents, and my mother and father, they didn't come home singing no God Bless America. They were still singing Negro spirituals.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden the children coming home singing pledges. Look what I learned today, mama. I learned my Pledge of Allegiance. Now we got brand new black patriots, but then you got some of these activists that realize that. That's why I say I talk to them and I try to understand where they're coming from. When I hear somebody say that they don't vote, I want to just call them stupid, but at the same time I know they don't know no better, so I have to sit back and understand why. And you will hear these type of stories that let you know that they don't want to be indoctrinated.
Yeah.
They feel like in participating in this entire system is benefiting our detriment. Because, and so, you know, you start talking to people. To me, this conversation would probably be more beneficial if we found out how to talk to people that say that voting is a waste of time.
Exactly.
Or they won't use their vote. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure we all want to take care of our own families and ourselves. Everybody on the planet. But it doesn't mean that they don't care, because one thing about it, you can't win a war if you ain't got numbers.
Exactly.
You still got to wake some people up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if we could win a war without numbers, then we wouldn't be fighting right now. But we can't win the war because we ain't got enough numbers when it comes time to vote and infiltrate that system. So, you know, you have to sit down and have conversations with these people that are activists, that have a platform, that have a following, they have clout, quote unquote.
Yeah.
You have to sit down and inform them properly and let them know, okay, look, man, what you're doing, you're misinforming people. You're making them turn against something that we still have to utilize as a tool. Because if the tool wasn't important, why would they want somebody to count all the jelly beans in a jar?
Yeah.
Because they don't want her to vote. Why don't they want her to vote? Because every vote counts and it's important. So why don't they want you to vote now? Because every vote counts and it's important. They are trying to achieve the same agenda that they were trying to achieve from the very beginning when they didn't want you to vote. And if that still exists in the day, that in itself should let you know why you should vote.
Yeah.
If you can't go back and research why they are trying to keep you from voting, at least know that you should, because they don't want you to.
Exactly.
And you can wake people up with the way you bring it to them, if you care.
Absolutely.
Can I jump in?
Yes, sir.
So I've asked some people that's told me about not why they don't vote, and one of the things that they throw out is, well, look how Trump got in office.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Clinton won popular vote, electoral college put him in, and then they quote another president or two that the same thing happened then, and they're like, why should we vote when the popular vote's going to get ignored and they're going to put in who they want anyway?
Mm. Wow. Curtis, and that mindset is a little kind of warped just a little bit to me. And I know Badger is not co-signing that. He just putting the facts out there about what he heard. Curtis, you
Yeah,
there?
I'm right here. I'm right here.
Curtis, you've been in the military, and you served your term in the military, much like Charles and Leonard. I know they've been in the military as well. I'm gonna read this to you, and you tell me what you think about this. All right? You ready? Curtis, are you there?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm
Okay.
sitting right here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. What does that mean to you?
That means I live in a country where I'm supposed to have liberty and justice.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be for. I didn't ask to come here. I didn't ask for my forefathers to be brought here, but we here.
Mm-hmm.
And so you are. You know, sometimes the devil can do what he do and don't even realize that God is in the midst. His arrogance will allow for him to think that he's doing what he's doing and God ain't in the midst.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the biggest lie told since Jesus Christ was a white man.
Mm-hmm.
God is always in the midst. First and foremost, I get it. I really do. I really do understand how people can feel the way that they feel. But let me just answer the question that Brother Badger threw out there. My response to them would be, you see, that's why it's so important for you to vote, so that the Electoral College don't have to get involved, so that the vote can be overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
When your vote tallies are always within the margin of error, then you give the opportunity of the Electoral College to even come and even pronounce a winner, as opposed to the winner of the popular vote. If it is within pretty much, if the vote is within the margin of error, boom,
Mm-hmm.
they get the chance to, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when it's an overwhelming vote, or what they call a landslide, the Electoral College almost can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. You gotta go with what you got. But anyway, I didn't ask to come here, man. My people did not request to be brought to America to be enslaved, but we here.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the things that nobody ever accounts for is, if you look at all the brothers who signed their names, if you look at all of those dudes who signed their names on the Declaration of Independence, I almost want to say that there's 7 dudes on that document who were Negroes. See, nobody likes to talk about that, and the history classes won't teach it to you until you go to an institution of higher learning, particularly a HBCU.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You understand? And then on top of that, when you talk about the Constitution and you talk about if you want to talk on the separation of black and white, then you just go to the 3/5 clause. That proves that this country is set up on separation.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the 3/5 clause.
Mm-hmm.
Black folks was considered animals, pieces of property. How many of us got cars, man?
Exactly.
It's a piece of property.
Mm-hmm.
You run it, can't run it no more, and then when you can't run it no more, you take it on down to the dealership and you trade it in.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're doing, black folks. So,
yeah.
But I went and I represented. I did it for all of America, but I did it specifically for my race.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Let me
live here.
Public Citizen said, Black history is American history. Anyone who disrespects that needs to be corrected. Black history is American history, and anybody who disrespect that need to be corrected. Okay, I definitely agree with you
That-
on that.
right.
Let me go to Leonard. Leonard, the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. How did you served in your country, Leonard? You served in the military. What does that say to you, Leonard?
I mean, it's don't say no more to me than everybody else, but you know, when you sign up for a job, you do the job, and if not, you quit.
Mm-hmm.
And so I hear a lot of people talking about certain things and desires of their heart. What they need to do is move towards the desires of their heart. If they so see it that they don't want to be here, guess what? Leave here.
Mm-hmm.
Leave here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've learned allegiances to the Christian flag, allegiances to the Bible as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't make I ain't ashamed about it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't participate in a lot of that Star Spangled Banner and all that. You know, that's never been my thing. You know, like people say, put your hand over. Most time I don't. You say stand up. I don't even stand up. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So to each his own and what they believe. But if what you believe is keeping you from being successful, you had better change your beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people, I don't care what you believe and how you feel. If it's false, you have a problem. And most people get into these emotional rants and rages, and it's completely false.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why they're struggling. Failure to see reality and what reality gives you.
Mm-hmm.
See, that stuff, your perception and what you're making up in your head could be completely off base. History is what it is. It will never change. It will always be there.
Mm-hmm.
You create more of it each and every day, but you cannot live there. You cannot live there. Even talking with people in the movement who are frustrated, or they come, man, how you do this? I don't like marching.
Mm-hmm.
I do it though, because it's necessary. It's a part of the plan, the mission, the objective. What is your mission and what is your objective? Is it to be miserable? Is it to even be free? We always talk about Harriet Tubman, but you forget. Is you the one sitting back there don't want to leave? Is that you? You just want to sit around and complain about how massa is and this scared to run and scared to do. That's you. If that's you, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd be doggone if I don't be free because you don't feel good today.
Wow.
Because you don't feel like you matter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not giving up my freedom for your foolishness.
That's good. Good deal. Good deal.
So instead of focusing on this, that, and the other, you may want to focus on free folk.
Toya with a T. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Good morning. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good. Doing good. Toya, I'm gonna start off. We was talking about voting. We was kind of transitioned. So I'm gonna take you to where we are right now. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. What does those words mean to you?
They mean exactly what they mean.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe?
Do you believe them? Are they
What
true?
the words say? We just not doing it. Here we go again.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go again. Mama told you don't go outside. You go outside anyway. You get caught up. But didn't I tell you not to go outside in the first place? Like liberty and justice for all. That's what it's supposed to be. That's what God told me to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because that's what it says. One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Because you know a slave owner ain't thought about no justice for all. So you know God told him to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Just like God told us to do a lot of things from the beginning that we didn't do. So it is what it is. I'm gonna have my freedom and my justice. Listen, I don't need your Pledge of Allegiance to tell me about my freedom and my justice now that I know this. Now that I know that it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like again, we're stuck in this matrix where they're telling you, oh, you're free or not, you're a slave. Oh yeah, well, you know, the Constitution says you're an American citizen. No, I'm a child of God first and foremost. I'm created in the image of God, second of all. I ain't come out the womb with no handcuffs on, so I'm gonna be free.
Come on, Joe.
That's in my spirit. That's in my spirit. That's why God made me in 77. Because I came out the womb at 18, 16, smacking white foods. Period. Because that's just the spirit of who I am, to be free. I'm going to die for that under all means. And I'm so much of a human to where I'm that nut. Oh, I committed a crime, Your Honor. I turn myself in. I don't need you to come get me. Because I know what I did. You know, so that Pledge of Allegiance, that's in my spirit. That's what I'm going to do. Long as I wake up and do what I do. And I am from America. And my people were brought over here a long time ago. But I'm from here. And I'm going to represent here. And I don't want to go nowhere. I don't want to live in no huts. I don't want to live in no playhouses. And I don't want to run around with antelopes. I like it here. We got some issues and some challenges. But this is where I be. This is where I stay. This is where I'm from. And I'm going to help make sure that we all get, at least my folks, liberty and justice for all. You know what I'm saying? But this is what we're supposed to have. And humans, again, they take that dominion and they start telling you what you can't do. And if you can't do it, then you're going to do this and you're going to do that. Well, we're going to see. Because if you think you're going to kill me, I'm going to kill you back first. And liberty with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Amen.
Back first. I'm going to kill you back first now.
Amen. Amen, soldier.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Monique, what does the Pledge of Allegiance? And good morning. How you doing this morning? What does the Pledge of Allegiance mean to you, Monique?
Good morning.
What does the Pledge of Allegiance mean to you?
You know, I was just thinking about that. You know, the liberty and justice, you know, to tie that in with voting. I think that we have to be, you know, mindful of that because, you know, justice, I mean, are we really, you know, fairly getting our justice, you know, and liberties, you know, with all these, I guess with these districts, they revamping these districts to where they can, you know, split, you know, some of these votes. So I just think that we probably need to be, you know, watchful of that and to the people that vote, you know, what kind of conversations to have with them. You know, I think those are probably the ones that you might have to just chuck them up, you know, it's a loss. Because when you have a conversation with them, you know, they want to start getting into the weeds of, well, this and that. And some of that stuff that they talk about really don't matter because, you know, with that mindset, that's putting us in positions where, you know, judges are getting in positions that, you know, that they don't need to be there. You know, these chief of police, you know, getting voted in that don't need to be there. And, you know, and the people that saying we don't need to vote, they're not even doing anything for the community. So, you know, sometimes you might have to chuck them up as a loss and figure out some other way, you know, and kind of work with what you got, you know, come up with some other strategic plan, you know, to, you know, bring more people into, you know, what you're trying to do, even to the point of grooming, you know, somebody who you might want to be in a position, because I think that's what they do. You know, they groom who they want. They already have pre-planned, you know, who's going to be the next president, you know.
Please take the parking ticket.
And they know how to, you know, swing it that way.
Following the guidance.
So,
Exactly. Somebody going to the parking garage. I don't know who that is. Somebody going to the parking garage. But let me go. Rico, what do you say to that, man? The Pledge of Allegiance. Pete, come to you next. What does that mean to you? What does it say to you?
What it says to me, now that I'm older, you know, I'm thinking about what Cassandra said earlier. When I was young, you know, I took to it as something that I needed to do because everybody else was doing it. And then it felt good knowing the next day I remembered a little bit more of it. You know, I was looking around, I'm like, well, these people know it and I don't know it. So I mumbled around until I picked out the words, and then all of a sudden, guess what? I felt like I belonged.
Mm-hmm.
I could say it word for word, just like everybody else. And I was happy on more than one front. I felt good about the words, and then I was able to repeat them.
Mm-hmm.
Here I am, indoctrinated. But guess what the powers that be does? They come up with a plan, they do a lot of editing, and then they give it to the public.
Mm-hmm.
They give you the surface level of it, but you really don't know what the whole inner workings are.
Mm-hmm.
See, the unedited version is, at the end it says, for liberty and justice for all, except black people.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. We're going to leave that part out. Mm-hmm. So now look at us, running around here talking about democracy and patriotism. We done drunk all that Kool-Aid.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what? I look at activists that say we don't need to vote the same way I look at people that say they are Republican or patriots. I look at it the same way. But I do understand that we need each other to get what we need to get done. See, these activists that won't vote, they need to vote because if you get enough votes, you'll still even control the electoral college.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Them swing states, them swing counties that we miss out by 1,000 votes. They could have swung a whole election and we would have won the electoral college if 1,000 of the 100,000 black people that didn't vote would have showed up.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
See, they don't even understand that part. So I have to let them know, man, look, they have used every avenue available to implement white supremacy and entitlement and privilege, and we have to utilize every avenue. No system, no dynasty has ever been conquered without somebody infiltrating it from the inside. If you ain't got enough power and you ain't got enough numbers, then you better be a part of it and sabotage it, just like they sabotage hip-hop.
Mm-hmm.
Just like they sabotage every organization and everything we come together with. We invite them in or welcome them in wholeheartedly, and before you know it, it's a gay thing now. Everything get manipulated. All our agendas get manipulated because they come and participate. So now here it is. We think we're going to cause some change in America without participating in the system they have implemented that is controlling everything.
Mm-hmm.
So now we got to get in and we got to play CIA. We have to. We do have to get in the Republican Party, infiltrate it, and play the same mind games. We have to get in the Democrat, but we have to get in both parties and then create another party. When I say it ain't just one way or the other, it's all the ways. Because guess what? They got us in this situation by making sure they control every way that we could have got out of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Exactly. Leonard, read that there from a public citizen says something here. Will you read that for me?
They added the part about under God during the anti-communist Red Scare of the 50s as a way to divide us. God is real, but I don't need anyone to force me to admit it through a pledge.
What do you say to that, Leonard?
Well, you know, that's their business. I'm a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I didn't really get into that Pledge of Allegiance and all that. You know, I know what it is and things, but like I said, if you participate, you do. If you don't, now certain things I didn't know. I didn't know that part of that song was accept black people or that allegiance.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more for the ideals of the Constitution than anything. I've lived in other places. There's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I understand your feelings, but do I understand your feelings don't add up to a whole lot when it comes to business and taking care of business.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand people that don't vote. I completely understand it. And that's your position.
Does it make sense?
To me, no. To me, no. But if I understand it, if you're willing to hold that position, hold it till you die.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what you believe, if that's what you want to defend, if you ain't a part of nothing and you all by yourself and you don't know what to do because you in America, hey, I can't change your mind if you don't want to change it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm saying, we leaving tonight. If you not going, to hell with you.
Hey.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Point. I'm like, man, I love what Toya be talking about. For the simple fact is, Toya's always talking about moving forward despite the bull.
Mm-hmm.
and not allowing the BS to become a part of your character.
Absolutely.
See, it's one thing to talk about somebody else about the BS, but then when you become about the BS, that's a problem.
Yeah,
that's a huge problem. And people get offended by this, that, or the other, or what have you. I've seen it right in front of you. Keep talking about great and doing well, and then somebody will come in there to try to throw a bomb in the way.
Exactly.
And they be looking just like you. And they be talking that nonsense. And I have to stand there and say, you know what? I understand your point of view. Move to the back of the line. Because that's not the way we going, bro. And we can settle it right now if that be necessary. However, we have to be about moving forward.
Yeah.
It does not matter what the devil doing. You got to be fighting for what's right. I don't care if ain't nobody else around you right. You don't give in to the wrong and pick up the wrong. You fight for what's right. Now, I don't know if you've been taught that or not. I don't know how you get to 50 and don't understand right from wrong. I will never sign on to that foolishness.
And let me say this, and let me say this to you. When he say BS, he mean building something. That's what BS means.
Oh, that's a lie. That ain't what I meant.
Well, that's what it mean today. That's what it mean today.
I like what the country folks call it, beef garbage.
There you go. Good deal. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother? Building
Malarkey.
Malarkey, exactly.
Do monarchy stink?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Bad. Go ahead, Tucson.
No, I thought you were going to beat.
Oh, okay. I did. I was trying to figure out who I said I was going to go to next, man. It slipped me. I'll come right back to you. Brother Pete, what's on your heart, brother? Tucson, coming to you next. I know I said that. I say,
now we getting down to where the rubber meets the road. In spite of all the hindrances and the moves, the motives, the systematic application to prevent, hinder, a self-determination to achieve and accomplish all that you can has to be preserved and always implemented from within and then collectively, and you move forward. And it's a full force, all hands on deck effort. And it's nothing off the table.
Yeah.
When I say, I reiterate what Harry Belafonte say, burn it down, you can literally set something on fire and burn it down if it's to that point. But what I really mean when I'm saying to you now is, look, tear down what's wrong and have no hesitation, no reserve in moving forward in your advance. If it literally means we have a Laquan McDonald being shot and killed, or Ahmaud Arbery being shot and killed, and the system is hesitating to deal with that justly, then absolutely get together, go down there and kill those people, and that's the end of that. If that's what it comes to, that's what I mean. But now also at the same time, create your businesses, support your businesses, manufacture your products, pursue education, develop yourself to your full potential, and then go forth and activate and refuse to yield anything outside of accomplishing the goals that you have preset in truth and justice and righteousness and all that is wholesome. It's a two-sided sword. We come in peace, but we take our adversaries in pieces. Wow. And that's the mindset. We yield nothing. We give nothing.
Nothing.
We will go forward. We will advance. We will accomplish. We will seize the ground, secure it, build on it, and advance. And yield nothing. That's what it is.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
if you get in the way, you get removed. If you mount a defense, you will be destroyed. That's it. That's it. Join the parties, vote, start business, get an education, participate in the whole function. But secure it as much as it lies possible within your hands and your power, and move from that foundational standpoint and watch what happens.
Pass the play. Pass the play.
We'll remove ourselves out of this bottom position in spite of all the injustices,
but we tolerate nonsense. I mean, I understand. Listen, I'm being honest. Nobody wants to put their life at risk or unnecessarily cause any harm to anybody, get harmed, cause their freedom to be brought into question, all of these type of things. But as a man, as a flesh and blood sentient being, male man in my existence, in my being, there's nothing that says I have to tolerate ignorance and foolishness and injustice and grievous offenses. Nothing. Nothing from no one.
Yeah.
That's where you being the government, you being enforcement, that don't have nothing to do with it. You created an offense. I told you my brother Johnny L. Savage formed a statement. Injustice is the prevention. Justice is the prevention of injustice. Grasp that now. Justice is the prevention of injustice. But once injustice occurs, there can be no justice. Now, how long are you going to tolerate that?
Exactly. And public citizens.
Some of these things, somebody might need to get their teeth slapped out their mouth. And a lot of them look like me and you. We got a gang of elected officials that look like us.
Come on now.
Participating in the present function of the system, whether they Democrat or Republican. So where's the justice? Where's the righteousness? Where's the standard? Where's the moral? Where are the principles? Where's your character? Where's your humanity fortitude? It seems to be amiss. Well, then you know what? Take your hand back. What's your right or left hand? Take it back as far as you can behind your back. Stretch your arm all the way out.
All the way out.
As quick as you can. Bring it back forward. Across their face. And maybe you can help them conceive some reality when you slap the
Lord.
Maybe they will come to themselves. When they come out of the office, start with throwing eggs at them. If they don't get that, go Palestinian style. Throw some rocks at them. Come on.
That's my big brother. That's my big brother right there.
Shots at them if necessary. Now you starting to understand that people tired of the nonsense. Come on. And it ain't just black folks, man. Most of the people in this country sick of the nonsense. They just want the society to live up to the fullness of its mission statement and purpose and stop playing with us.
I pledge allegiance to the
all
flag.
we all the way across the water and dealing with Ukraine and got a grievous actions of injustice and terror and terrorism going on right here.
Yes, sir.
Deal with it here.
Every day.
Deal with it here. Deal with it here. Deal with it here. Deal with it here. Where's the $35 million you gonna put towards this? Where is the George Floyd justice bill? Where's the money for the black farmers? Come on. But look, why the black farmers need money? Where are the black folks buying the products from the black farmers? They don't need the government to give them no money. If we buy everything from them, then we got to get our mind right. And stop making all these excuses.
Good deal. Good deal. Let me
subverted and pointed off in every direction. And real cool. I'm leaving.
Now, Pete. Now you know we got to move on, brother. Now you know we got to.
You know you have to move on because Pete preach all day.
Pete, look. It's gonna be 12:30, man. I still ain't went to my next person. Hold on, Pete. Hold on, brother. I love the fire you putting out there. But let me go to Tucson. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
I was trying to get your question. The question was this United States of America flag thing with Jay, right?
The Pledge of Allegiance.
That I pledge allegiance. It starts off with I pledge allegiance. You know, when I think about it, I see potential and opportunity. I see. Okay. But there are some discrepancies in the whole statement. Words mean everything. Words mean something. And it starts off with I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Hold up, wait a minute. I ain't gonna wait. Not to that. Now I'm loyal to the things that I see in it because I'm part of the country, whether they want me to be or not. Me. I'm kind of like Leonard and Charles, believe it or not. You know, I'm about me, but I can't do it by myself.
Yeah.
And if I think I can, then I'm stupid. I'm just saying. So, and to the republic for which it stands, don't stand for nothing. This country don't stand for nothing.
Come on.
And So I have to stand for something. I ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. If you don't want to stand for nothing, that's your problem. You got the problem. So you're not even in the statement. Exclude yourself and keep excluding yourself, and you'll be at the bottom of the totem pole like they say you are. But it's in the words mean something, and they said it. I didn't say it. I didn't write it. But I see the potential in it because it says it. We didn't have to say it. I didn't ask you to.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to do me. I don't do the last part of it says in which we stand, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All who? We don't do the thing. We don't do this thing together. It's not a we. Get out of here. Some of us are stupid. I don't get with stupid people. I'm just saying.
Boy, you on the road?
Say stupid. I should have said ignorant. I should have said, some people that get up in the morning, every morning, and don't know. I'm not with you.
Yeah.
That's not the all I'm talking about. So, there's potential. There's opportunity, but there's a lot of discrepancies because everybody don't want the same thing.
Exactly. Wow, that's good. Boy, you're on the road today, boy. I don't know whether we might not need to come back to you, Donald. So you hitting them kind of hard today, brother. You're hitting them kind of hard. Badger, what's on your heart?
I heard someone, how much does a president have to win by votes before the Electoral College doesn't get involved? Thinking about different things like that and listening, I agree with what Donald and Leonard and Toya are saying and stuff. There's a lot of people that just seems like they've held on to the past so much that it's affected their character. Here I am sitting here working hard to break a lot of the cycles that folks try to push on me to believe and think a certain way. And I went, no. I don't think another race has more rights or more access than what I have. That ain't right. That don't make sense. Not from what I've seen. So, looking at, I see the injustice that's going on. I see the people that are having to fight to protect their water, to protect their land, to protect, themselves and other people. I have empathy for the stories that are shared about experiences. And my focus is, if a judge is, isn't judging his son or his child in the same way he would judge anyone else, then he doesn't need to be in that seat.
Okay. Good deal.
It don't matter. So, because I don't think Great Spirit wants us to let other people control who we are. I think the Great Spirit wants us to have a connection with Great Spirit, a relationship with Great Spirit, and a relationship with one another, but not to the point that you're letting other people's opinions and viewpoints control who your character and how you're going to choose to live.
That's good.
I would like to also add, Raheem, because it keeps coming up as it relates to the Electoral College issue and people's reasoning and justification. First of all, do understand that the Electoral College can easily be changed. All states do not operate the same way. Go to your legislatures and insist that they create legislation that compels the electors to vote according to the popular vote. This is what happened in the majority of states. The electors are held to the popular vote. So whatever the popular vote is, the electorates in that state cast their vote with the popular vote. Now, if you live in certain states, that is not true. So if these young people are so interested, they need to mount an attack and try to get that legislation passed.
Good deal. Good deal. Charles, I see you back with us, brother. We're talking about the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, you serve your country, Charles. What does that mean to you?
It has nothing to do with me serving my country, because I went into the military for money. I didn't go in the military to serve my country. I went in for money.
You're honest, bro.
I have to agree with him 100%.
When I was in basic training, it's weird, because when I was in basic training, they said put your hands up if you came here if you're a patriot. Now you gotta remember, this is 1988. And a lot of people did. They said put your hands up if you're here for the money. I put my hands up. I became the squad leader, and a platoon leader, because the honesty. I was here for money, not if you attack my soil, then it's just like if you attack my house. But as for the Pledge of Allegiance, it's a pledge, just like dudes pledge AK whatever Alpha or whatever. Dudes pledge all this and that and other things. So it's just a pledge. The Nicene Creed. It's just pledges. You pledging for those things. The allegiance to the flag. You're pledging allegiance to the flag. You're pledging your allegiance to the United States of America. So that's all you're doing. It's not. I guess I never got down on it as if in that way. I just know what I can get out of it for my family.
Let me ask you this question. Do you think, from where you're standing and from your experiences, do you think the words are solid and true?
As whomever they fit, they're solid and true for them. Nothing is 100. You get what I'm saying? You got good parts and you got bad parts of America itself. You got good parts and bad parts of that pledge. But they're pledging. The pledge is not bad. It's the people who hold up the pledge. You understand? It's the place that holds it up. The pledge is not the pledge itself. It's the people who hold those things up or don't hold those things up that make those things bad. You understand?
Okay.
Or make those things not accountable. You get what I'm saying?
I heard what you're saying. Yeah, I heard exactly what you're saying. Absolutely. Curtis, I'm coming to you. Then Cassandra, I'm circling back around to you. Curtis, what do you say to that, man? Are the words honest and true?
Are the words what, right?
Honest and true.
They on paper. So words have meaning. That's why they hold their own space. So, and if you look at the meaning, you can't deny the honesty in the words. However, what you can deny is the honesty in the action. The way that the words are carried out. I get where most people are, and I understand the reason, motives, and all. I'm a little different. I sat on a different side of the fence. This country is 244 years old. This country is still a baby. It ain't even hit 1 year old when you look in terms of structure and design and this, that, and the third. We are extremely ahead of most other countries when they were 244 years old in terms of advance in technology and things of that nature. And the truth of that fact is we are only there because you brought the greatest civilization here to build a nation who existed consistently, some folks say 1,000 years ahead of their time. And you brought those very same folks here and enslaved them and made them build. There's some parts about the story that that's not being told, but I'm not going to go there. I'm going to leave it alone. But it is safe to say for anyone especially anyone of indigenous American, anyone of the African American, Asian American, Mexican American, and or Latino American, it is safe and it is rightly so for us to say, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. It is right for us to say, why should I? Because America ain't pledged no allegiance to me.
Mm-hmm.
It is safe for us to say that. But the truth be told is, I'm thankful because, like some other brothers on here, I have lived abroad. And I'm thankful that I can get on this radio station and say the things that I am saying against my government or against the ideology that my government is following, and not have to worry about my wife being murdered or me being murdered or my kids being murdered, or matter of fact, my whole family being murdered because the pussy stopped the bloodline. Oh no, we got to stop that train of thought. So I appreciate that. Is this country perfect? No, it's not. Not by a long shot. How many of our kids were perfect? How many of our young adults are perfect? See, it is in my opinion that in most cases the human being consistently asks for perfection without accepting the inconvenient truth that perfection only exists through imperfection. It only happens through imperfection. Nobody can tell you that they came out the womb and they knew how to build a $50 million missile. Nobody can tell you that they came out the womb and they was able to amass $1 billion. When you sat around some of those people, and I thank God, you know what I mean, because God gave me some opportunities, man, that people that I know, black, white, tan, be striped, wish they had, man.
Good
I went
deal.
to the number 6 business school in the world. I'm a graduate of the Whitman School of Business, Syracuse University. And the one thing I learned about their program right here, and I'm not going to talk too much longer. The one thing I learned about their program is this. Their program is so sought after and in such in high esteem because their professors are actually movers shakers in the business world, and they don't have a problem telling you the truth. Meaning they don't have a problem telling you how much money they lost before they amassed billions of dollars.
Good deal. Good deal.
So they,
Good deal. Gotta wrap it up, Curtis. Go.
All right, man. Go ahead.
No. Finish your thought. Wrap it up for me. I gotta move on to somebody else.
What it is they're teaching you the ideology that in order for there to be any progress, there must be struggle and there must be loss. Sometimes I hear us on this station, and all we have a tendency to talk about is our loss, and it sounds like we're consistently complaining. That's all we can talk about. And I see black folk do it all the time, not even realizing how denigrating it is to its own culture and society. Because the last time I looked, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, there was not this many black millionaires.
Exactly.
There was not this many black billionaires.
Good deal, Kurt. Gotta keep it moving, brother. Gotta keep it moving, brother. Curtis, gotta keep it. Okay. Cassandra, what's on your heart? Boy, y'all something else. Cassandra?
Yeah, I wanted to I wanted to read this. I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear truth, faith, and allegiance to the same. Okay, so that's a part of the military pledge, right?
It is.
I am at a point right now where I believe that we need to protect this country from its enemies domestic. I ain't even concerned about foreign. I ain't even concerned. We have more enemies right now in this country fighting against the freedoms of everyone in this country. And those are the people that we need to be fighting against. And whether that is a literal, literally a fight, because that's what we saw on Insurrection Day, whether we like it or not. We can try to make it anything we want, but that's exactly what we saw. People fighting for what they perceived was an attack against what they believed was a wrong voting or whatever. It was stupid. But you know what? They got out there and they did it. But we're supposed to fight against that. Those people are terrorists as far as I'm concerned. They're terrorists. They're no different than any other group of terrorists that we be, the Arabs, the Iranians, whoever we want to come at. We have that right here in our own country, and we need to do better. So I fight against them. I fight against the insurrectionists because that's what they were.
Yeah. Okay. Public citizen, good morning. How you doing this morning? Toya with the T coming to you next.
Good morning. Good, man. Really great conversation. There are a couple comments. One, to what Curtis was talking about, how people complain and everything. We all do that, White can.
No, that's what I heard. Yeah, good one, man.
For real? Some background.
Yeah, I got it.
Conversation. Like white conservatives, they like to complain about all the brown people, all the black people. That's like everyone has their thing they want to complain about, and I think we have to, to some degree, we have to complain, get it off our chest or whatever, and then hopefully you can reflect on, after you've done your complaint, you can reflect on what's going on here, what are different perspectives and all that stuff. But yeah, like that complaining mindset is very unhealthy. I've been there, and I get there. I go there sometimes, and I try to get away from it. But about the pledge, when I talk to my students about it, I focus, like everyone here has, I focus on liberty and justice, what those mean, and that's about the government, though. That's the thing. That's about the government. So we're more than just citizens of where we live. We're people. We're individual human beings. So, we have to find internal peace. And we've all had injustice. I've had injustices. I've had racism against me from all different types of people. Had people rip me off in different ways. Had landlords rip me off. I've had all kinds of bad stuff that's happened to me. But you gotta kind of get past it somehow. And I think. Like earlier, I think it was Pete had all these metaphors about war, and that's why I did that comment. I said, like, life is war, it really is. But I think sometimes like, who's your enemy? Like, I think sometimes people get a broad, like a stereotype enemy of who they think the enemy is. It can be racial.
Sorry about that.
And that's bad, we can't look at other people of other races as the enemy. We have to, really look at each other as individuals. So, I don't know. I guess that's it. Life is war, but like the war is against yourself. The worst parts of yourself. That's what I think.
Good deal. Good deal. Toya with a T, talk to me, sis. What's on your heart?
Yeah, no, when you talking about certain things, I'll be in the background doing a little research. And didn't see no black folks sign the Constitution, right? But I did notice and acknowledge that the same spirit that drove slavery, just like back in the Pharaoh days when Moses got mad and killed one of the centurion men or whichever men it was at the time. You know what I'm saying? They were all humans who choose to use their dominion And listen, let me tell you something. When you got slaves, you don't have to be wicked and burning and beating and raping and doing all that stuff. Listen, all of us on this room got slaves because you know what? We got people who will do any and everything for us without us paying them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you abuse a person like that, it's all about mindset. You're a terrible person.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to beat or abuse anyone, but just not treating another human being well does not make you a good person, regardless of what position you're in, whether you're the cook, whether you're a slave, or whether you're a slave master or a president. And that's the root of what we're talking about right now. As I read this Constitution, I see the spirit of man. The spirit of men have this tendency of wanting to rule and reign and do some terrible things, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so boom, here we come. 17-something started this Constitution. Some men, just the majority of them was white, I'm quite sure it was some black and some others, just did not want to roll with not being a slave master no more. They just wasn't taking it. The same type that probably ran up into this building on the insurrection of January 6th. Why? That's not what I want. I want to keep my slaves. I like it like that. And surprisingly, when you look at the list of presidents who did not own slaves at that time, that was just who they were as presidents. They were white presidents.
Mm-hmm.
And they just didn't do slaves. It's the slavery trade thing that signed this as well. That means they were all in agreement to say, okay, you know what? Humanely, it ain't right, whatever. So you look at the 3/5 clause for slaves, because it didn't apply to free people and indentured servants.
Yes.
That was a way for them to help influence votes still. All what we talking about, the Electoral College, all this, that, and third, they all made slaves 3/5 of a person to kind of help put this buffer there for them. But again, if you were free or an indentured servant, you didn't count. So now when you come to the Emancipation Proclamation, that was them saying again, white people, listen, when the told y'all stop raping, beating, you can't have slaves no more. Now we got to put in extra laws in place, these amended laws, to supersede the ones that we used to do. And now this is where, let me say, the people, right? Because we the arms of these laws.
Mm-hmm.
And if the law says now we got to protect slaves, then we have to protect slaves now.
Mm-hmm.
So stop. We got to protect them. The law says that you can't kill them no more. We don't do slaves no more. That's where we at now, 1800. But there's still humans who still choose to do otherwise. We still hear stories from the 1800s when they did that emancipation up until now, where some of these people still, they just wicked
mm-hmm.
and evil. You understand what I'm saying? And we can look at the laws that have been in place, didn't stop nothing. The regulations, some people's hearts basically had to change. And that's what happened. Mm-hmm. So until the hearts of these people change, no matter where they are, we're going to have an issue. Real quick, I also came across this old poster, 1856, I think it was, where they were encouraging black people, listen closely, do not entertain or be tricked by the Boston police. Because the Boston police are slave masters who are capturing you and taking you away and do this, that, and the third. Doesn't that sound familiar today to the police we have today? Right? Mm-hmm. And this is how it all involves in the system. So just running through this rough draft on some of the major hints in America that affect black people. And we're going to be the most passionate because it's us and it's still happening versus white people who, okay, you might be over it. Still, the pattern shows that until we find a way to change these people's hearts
exactly.
and get them to understand the concept to not do these things, not want us to vote, not want us to have a fair share, not want us to have a fair chance. Hell, not even just live. You got people who just want to kill you, just live until those people change their hearts.
Exactly.
These conversations are just conversations.
Charles, what's on your heart, brother?
What's up, man? I keep hearing, I'm just listening, and I agree with some people and I disagree with others. People keep speaking about the so-called insurrection. That actually, man, if you've ever been to the Capitol and you think, if you've been to the Capitol, especially after 9/11, it is so hard to get into that place without somebody letting you in, man. And this is just a fact, man. It is so hard to get into that place without somebody letting you in. And you got video of people being let in by security. You have video of this and people just won't even look at it. Don't lie. But that was not an insurrection, man. If you know somebody's rallying,
what would you
and
call
you
it,
know
Charles?
they're rallying, you know what I'm saying? Hold on, you know they're rallying. You know you could beef up security, but you deny beefing up security. That's a fact. They deny beefing up security, and then a fact is you see people being let in. And how are these people gonna know exactly where to go if they've never been into this place? Let's say they infiltrated it before, but still, if
But
you
y'all,
want to close the Capitol up,
answer this for me though, brother. What would you call it? If you had to put any kind of title on it, what would you call it?
man, that was something to get our minds different and different. Okay, that was something to get us to think that was something when it wasn't. That was the banana in the tailpipe trick. While something else was going on. You understand? Something they were doing that because no way in the world you can get beyond certain doors without being let in that Capitol. If you've ever been there. Matter of fact, if you go to the Capitol in Georgia, there's certain places you can't go unless they let you in. And that's the Georgia Capitol. So you know if you've ever been there. And I'm quite sure a lot of people have been there and been inside the building. You can't go places they won't let you. So was it an inside thing? Come on now.
Okay.
Why were they letting people in the place? I don't get why people are harping on that when it really was a banana in the tailpipe trick.
But what does that say, Charles? You say that there was people letting people in, and these are supposed to be the security people that's supposed to secure that particular place. And if they're letting these people in, that's going to not have the best interest of that place that they're supposed to protect. What does that say? What does that say about the whole situation, though? What does that say?
Says exactly what I'm saying. That sounds crazy. And then the people who let the people in get on stage and cry about saying I was scared for my life, you let them in. So you're right about. I'm agreeing with you on that, brother.
I think
you let somebody in and then cry about
you missed my point, though, brother. I think you slightly missed my point. But let me go to Cassandra. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Okay, then say it to me. I missed your point.
I can't. It's okay. Go ahead.
What I'm saying is, you say that it's not an insurrection, and I'm trying to get an understanding, a grasp of where you are when you say that it's not an insurrection, and you say that you letting these people are letting these other people in. They're supposed to be the people that's supposed to be protecting. So if they're letting the bad people in, the quote unquote criminal element, if you will, if we can call them that, if they're letting them in and they're supposed to be the one that's supposed to protect the place, what exactly is really going on? I'm trying to understand where you are and what would you call it, Charles? Okay, we might have lost Charles. Okay, Rico, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
Talking to
Rico, you there? Yeah, Charles, you going in and out, man. You must be in a bad area. Are you able to talk right now?
Like I said, man, what it was is that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. Okay, hold on. We're gonna move on, brother. You going in and out? Rico, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart? Rico, you there? Pete, are you there? Maybe having some issues.
I think I'm the only one there, Raheem.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm here.
Who you calling now?
I was calling you, Pete.
Yeah.
What's on your heart? What are you hearing?
Let me say this. Let's look at the facts. There was a rally being held while they were doing the vote. There was some contention about the voting, different perspectives of voting. There were statements made, and they were encouraged as a body to approach the building in contrast to the vote. That was the proceedings of the voting.
Hey, Pete, talking to your phone, brother. You're just a little bit low. You're just a little bit low there, brother.
They were there to contest the approval of the vote. And in their contention, they surrounded the building. They broke windows. They penetrated the building. Security definitely was lacking. We can look at previous recent gatherings in contention in the same area, and security was totally different. So clearly, security was light, and they were able to penetrate the building and proceed and do all that they did. So let's just look at it from a factual standpoint. Did they go over as a body and surround the building? Yes. Did they break windows and enter the building? Yes. Were they pushing and shoving and striking each other with objects, spraying mace and different things? Yes. Were there some nooses hung? Yes. Did they penetrate the area of the building? Yes. Did they scare the living daylights out of the occupants of the building? Yes. And were there some shots fired? Was there some life loss and grave injuries suffered? Yes. So that sounds like a hostile, dangerous, violent situation. That's the fact of the matter. Now, whether we want to say it was folks fighting for their rights or standing up, whatever, or whether we want to say it was an insurrection, just look at the facts of the matter. What happened? You can define it however you want to define it. The truth of the matter is going to stand regardless. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the issue is, were they not motivated by an individual or two to proceed and go to that area and do what they were doing? Yes, they were. Play the tape back. You'll hear him say it. Let's go to the building. I'll be there with you and whatever. Come on now.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly, this we all saw it. If you looked at it, you didn't review the tapes. It was a hostile, violent, aggressive, contentious situation and proceeding that had taken place. There were different views about proceedings. They had drawn lines, and they were determined to express their feelings to the point of using brute force. And it did result in injuries, serious injuries, and loss of life.
Pete.
Not defining. Yes.
Pete.
Go ahead,
Yes.
Cassandra.
Okay. Pete, this is what the word insurrection means. And I hear you. You're very eloquent, and I know that you use words that you know the meaning of. An insurrection is a violent uprising against an authority or government. Please tell me what else Please tell me another name for what those people did on that day, if that wasn't exactly what they were doing. Man.
Right. But see,
I got something to throw into this.
break out the yellow and black book for dummies and lay it where people can understand it. That's all.
Wow. Go ahead, Badger.
It's called sheeple. Doing what they're told. You know, the governor of the DC area requested, troops and stuff, and he was denied. There's all this other evidence that, matter of fact, there's someone that's local to me that had videos and pictures of the literal security guards just moving things out of the way for people with no force needed. They were just moving out of the way for them. So to me, it looks like here's someone that can be perceived as a dictator, and all his fault and a whole bunch of followers that are scared of their pocketbooks being hurt, and their sheeple mentality, and they stormed the castle.
Mm-hmm. I
So
want. Go ahead, Badger. No. Go ahead, Badger.
To me, what I saw that day was division, confusion, and illusions of nonsense, and how selfish and greedy most Americans are.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I'm gonna play this right here real quickly. Leonard, are you there?
Yes.
I want you to comment on after I play this right here.
Now it is up to Congress to confront this egregious assault on our democracy. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down anyone you want, but I think right here, we're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them, because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong.
What is that, Leonard? I mean, what is that?
It's exactly what it is. It's the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
The United States government was infiltrated.
Mm-hmm.
And, it shocks me that a lot of people look past it as if there are no investigations and commissions going on right now for the very active people. Like people ain't been punished and being punished and currently being brought before court for their participation in the event. It is exactly what it was. It's attempted coup against the American government with inside help.
Amen.
I don't care what people can call it whatever want. Y'all can make up new words for it if you want to. It is what it is. And we talk, if you've been down there, I used to live right in DC, right down the street from the White House.
Mm-hmm.
And it's changed so much, when I went back, I've gone back for marches, Million Man marches, and all that type of thing. However, you have to understand what it was. It was a terrorist attack.
Mm-hmm.
And this notion that people didn't know what they were doing, that's false. This was all coordinated. Mm-hmm. It was what was supposed to happen, and that's what they did.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what they did. They did knowingly and willfully engage in insurrection against the American government.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You're talking to a person that was charged by the U.S. military with supposedly coercing other soldiers not to follow authority. I know exactly what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was charged with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And
so you don't get a pass because you white and Republican to do such a thing. Mm-hmm. All of them need to be face down somewhere in Guantanamo Bay.
Wow.
Period.
Wow.
Look at what you did.
Mm-hmm.
They've opened fire on people that try to breach the gate down there sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Especially when they're on high alert.
Mm-hmm.
So this notion that it's something else is by the same ridiculous people that support Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even the head of the Senate has told you what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And he is a Republican. He is a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
But he even has limits. And that was one of them that they crossed.
Yep.
And he came out and said as such.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people who are on board with storming the Capitol and doing all this are extremely illogical people. They don't usually have a plan for anything. Guess what they're doing? Just running their mouth, shouting, and being emotional. That's what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, well. I listened to that thing, man. Some people can't be manipulated to do anything. Because they wish they had a hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminds me of what his name was, Larry Cooney.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was their thing. We finally found somebody, and that was Trump.
Yeah.
He was just he thinks he's a leader, but he's a puppet.
Mm-hmm.
And see, ignorant people hang together. I'm sorry. Did I say something?
Yeah, you said something, brother. Yeah.
I mean, really.
Like magnets.
Because see, there are people that don't have the gall to say or do what a person that is ignorant will say and do. So they put the most foolish person that thinks like them up to it. But he's so stupid that he thinks he's the leader. And then the other ignorant folks follow along because they don't know that they're considered to be poor white trash anyway.
Leader of the imbeciles.
Lord Jesus. Lord. Rico, you back with us, brother?
He said, I'm going to meet you down there. I meatball down there.
Yeah.
Didn't show up.
I meatball down there.
Had his Bible upside down. When else talking about he going to church. I probably was reading from what.
You're missing the whole point. Donald Trump was there in spirit. Viewing room surrounded by security and cameras. He was there. You didn't see him in the control room. Don't disrespect him like that. He was there. His spirit was there.
We saw him in the living room. I mean, control room.
And I think they should accept all of those people right now to get on the front line and go over to Ukraine and help.
Thank you.
Help.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one thing.
Wow. Rico, you back with us, brother? Rico, you there? Toya with a T, talk to me, sis.
Yeah, no. So I got a little bit of a different perspective. And again, I'm not a Trump supporter, but there were some of the things that I did agree with from a business level with him. I don't get personal about certain things. I know how to do business and keep it business. I can not like you and still do business with you.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I still do things the most practical way. Again, every time we say that Donald Trump made these grown people go and run up in a building, I don't hear that. I don't hear that. That's the same way they be saying, "Oh, God did." No, he didn't. He said what he said. And if you took that and ran down there with it, we all do smack all the time. He been a smack talker from way back when. It's the same smack talker that said that we stupid enough to, if we vote then and he shot somebody, we stupid enough to vote for them. He said that then. So when he makes a comment, just like they talk about this rap music, all the rap music make you do nothing. No, don't nobody saying nothing make you do nothing. Yo,
Thank you.
Went
Thank
out
you.
These grown white supremacists feel loving in their heart. Grown people went down there, and the Lord, this is how I feel about it. The Lord allowed me to see how these humans really are. I'm not blaming Donald Trump for them grown behind white folks going down there. I'm gonna walk down there with you. Hey. He said what he said because he's an a-hole. And I'm not going to blame him for them white grown folks going down there showing they behind.
Thank you.
But since they did that, I'm going to tell you one more time. You run up over here, white or not, talking about Donald Trump told me you finna get this hot heat lead right on up in you, period. And that's what them people should have got. You don't pull no tables and no chairs out no way to let no people come infiltrate or hurt anybody else on American soil. And you an American talking about what another American said? No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna let it be because he said no. Them grown folks, you could have been a kid. He did not say get your guns, get your torches, go down there and let's go. That ain't what he said. He was being a smart behind. And these hate-filled white folks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done.
That's it. I thought you were about to shift gears on me. I thought I saw you about to shift gears. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
I'm done.
No, I was actually seeing if I could pull up the visitor logs and all that, but they're not released to the public yet.
And also, Raheem, when we think about these things and leadership and everything like that, because you know me, I ain't a part of all that. I did this because such and such told me to and all. No, I'm not giving you that pass. Because you should have you should have chose between right and wrong. So also, even with events that I've led here, and I've had interest come in that I did not care for, because I thought it devalued the integrity of the march. So if I'm with people and as I said, we go on a peaceful march, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. I know some people to get people to a spot, change the whole thing up, and then decide now you want to do something else. Guess what? March over with, bro. Because I didn't bring people here to do that.
Yeah.
See, I didn't invite you to bring your guns to this rally.
You did so because you wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So don't try to mix your message with my message. And now you out here destroying the integrity of the mission. And that's what happens to a lot of people. Now all of a sudden you blaming people for this, you blaming people for that. You know, I ain't about that on no level. Especially when you making a decision yourself to do wrong. Or nobody making them. People wasn't remote control. Them people was acting out. That's what them people were doing. And those people should have been treated as enemy combatants of the United States of America. The moment they did not disperse or cause harm or damage to that property. It violated all the rules of protest and freedom to protest. So we're not talking about protesting. Like now you got this whole thing. Now we need to shut down protesting. Why? Why? See, you want to shut down protesting and use this January the 6th thing as if it was just a protest. No, it was not. It was not a protest. It was an insurrection against the American government. So don't act like it was a protest that me and Cassandra and all us organized and protest in, because that's not what it was.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's go. Let's go back to. Let's go back to Charles. Charles, what's on your heart, brother?
And by the way, they uncovered communications that it was a concerted effort.
I did read Wade's. He put something about an insurrection.
Yes.
Look, man, if y'all really think that these people are really trying to take over the government, I just, there's nothing I can say. You know, I mean, you know, even Jesus said, let the dead bury the dead. So if y'all really thought there was an insurrection with no weapons, the insurrection with no weapons, you get what I'm saying? No guns, but it's an insurrection. No weapons, but it's an insurrection. All right, then that's what it was then.
Wait, are you saying they had no guns while they were up there?
Bro, it was no guns, man.
Then how did
you have
people
no
get
video
shot?
of anybody with guns on the inside of there. You have no video, no proof of anybody having weapons on the inside of there, but security.
Somebody
are you saying that it is?
Hold on, somebody don't agree. Hold on. Who's that? Who's that talking?
Somebody breaking in. Breaking in, breaking out.
Who's that? Who's that?
That's just Kurt, man.
Yeah. What's up, Kurt?
Listen.
I'm
the closest person.
Talking to your phone for me, Curtis.
I don't know what channel Brother Charles been watching.
Okay.
I respect his opinion. I don't know what channel he been watching. I don't know what news publication he been reading. I don't even know. Maybe he's getting some top secret brief that we not getting on a daily. I don't know. At this point, I can't even tell what planet he's living on. So let me tell you what really happened. Starting with, I heard someone mention earlier about the governor of D.C., right? D.C. has a governor. D.C. has a mayor. The mayor of D.C. requested help. The governor of Maryland had the Maryland National Guard. We thought somebody was attacking Baltimore. Because they moved. The governor could not allow for them to go into D.C. until the op order came out of the Pentagon saying, okay, we have been given the authority. The same Republicans in charge, including our previous president, had the power. All they had to do was say, go. They did not say it. Now, on video footage, we saw Baltimore people with AR-15s. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's what I do.
Several people walking around with AR-15s. Outside of that, there was bombs placed at the DNC headquarters, the RNC headquarters, the DC Times, and the Baltimore Sun. I don't know what he's talking about. He sounds like Tucker Carlson, but he's just black.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Okay, hold on. We're not gonna call names, so we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that.
Information. And let me dispel this other myth. Look at the video. The people, honestly, if they had knew exactly where they were supposed to go and had followed the instructions that was given to them by such people as Congressman Holly and old girl that's from down there in Georgia and a few others, they would have got to where they were supposed to go. But if you watch the video, the black guy, unless that was staged, we can say it was staged. The black guy is the one who led them away from there.
Mm-hmm.
The black guy who was walking up the stairs and they was following behind him. He knew at the end of the opposite hallway to his left was where everybody was assembled. He was getting ready to go there, and then he realized, okay, oh, nope, who they coming for is down there. So let me make this right and take them up another flight of stairs. Watch the video, man. Stop coming on this show telling all these lies, and then you using the name of God to justify your lies.
Hold on, Kurt. Hold on. Stay right there, Kurt. Stay right there, Kurt. Hold on. Certain things we're not gonna do. Hold on.
And not to mention that we have evidence of even the Donald Trump himself trying to seize state voting machines. Come on, man. It's like I put in the comment, I can't tolerate absolute ignorance.
And it's exactly what you all are. Absolute ignorance.
When you have the evidence of the truth and you choose the lie, how is anybody supposed to trust anything you say?
Right.
See, that's a trust. See, I talk to people here on the show because one, they have something to add and to offer, some truth, some value. But the lies, no, we shouldn't be doing lies at this point. We should be differing on actual. We should have a difference of opinion on truth. But we should be against lies here.
Okay. Let me do this right here. I'm gonna play this clip. Because Charles had stepped away when this clip was played the first time, so I'm going to afford him the opportunity to hear it.
No,
and
I'm here.
Get his take on what he hear. Hold on, Charles. Listen to this.
Now it is up to Congress to confront this egregious assault on our democracy. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down anyone you want, but I think right here, we're going to walk down to the Capitol. And we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them. Because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong.
And Mr. Reffitt, I'm sorry, Mr. Reffitt, one of the proclaimed leaders of this as well, was convicted of actually carrying a pistol during the event.
Yeah.
Okay. So this notion that were no guns and things there, that's a lie as well. Because the people are being convicted of it now.
Hold on. Let me go to Charles. Charles, what did Charles? Hold on, brother. What did you hear in that clip?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yes.
All right. So with that said, when I'm listening to the video you just played or the tape, it said nothing about attacking. It said walk down. Like I said, if security knew you were walking down there, which was planned, then security should have been beefed up, if that was a thing. Now, only shot that was fired was the one brother who shot through the glass and shot the woman in the face. That's the only shot that was fired. If you're looking at any other country with any other true insurrection, shots were fired. Show me another insurrection in the history of this world. A true insurrection that shots were fired. Unless they were using.
Nobody died in gun. Nobody died in gunfire in the whole situation. Nobody died in gunfire. There's no shots fired at all, is what you're saying. Is that what you're saying, Charles? There's no weapons fired at all.
Trip, man.
Okay, well, go ahead, Toya.
So, Charles, what he's saying is, if
It's
let me
fine.
see, how many people was
One
it
weapon is fine.
outside of the White House?
Mhm.
Them same amount of white folks outside your house, and you got pistols, and they begin to infiltrate your door because that's why the shot was fired from the inside. Because the building was at that time locked down. You understand me? Because we're being infiltrated by a mob of people. Things are out of order. Stop playing, sir. They were locked down because they started to move beyond the means of which they were told to, because when they operate that building, they operate in order, and it was not that. So they begin to infiltrate the doors and push. You said without guns, some had guns, bats, sticks. There was aggression, and they began to push on the doors, and the doors began to break, and then a shot rang out, and someone died, sir. So it's not about standing outside someone's house without weapons. When you got sticks and rock, you have a rock. I'm going to ask the question once again. If that same amount of white people were outside your house and they were told not to enter because your house was closed and they began to infiltrate your doors, what would you do? Okay, then.
Mm-hmm.
Are you asking me that question? First of all, if I know somebody's coming, I'm going to beef up security. Number one. That's number one. That didn't even happen, y'all.
Right now.
Y'all
I said
not
right
even
now.
looking at it. It did not happen. They did not beef up security. This is the capital of the United States of America.
We had all the security that they had at the White House at that time, even though they did not take this serious. They knew it was coming, but they did not call on. You just heard the young man say that they were sending special forces there. They were on the way. So in between the time that backup was coming, because tens of thousands of people are infiltrating your home right now, you call the police. The police are on the way. They got 3 seconds to bust through your door. What are you doing, sir?
Okay, I absolutely need to jump in here.
Hold on, Badger. Hold on, Badger. Let her finish. Okay.
Charles.
Mm-hmm.
Is that an insurrection?
They knew for days that this. They knew for days. They knew for days.
Rahim, please let me jump in here.
And you're waiting on the police to come.
Mm-hmm.
And you put that in the same way that they did that White House like that. That was no. You can't say someone is ignorant waiting just that. Because I'm telling you now, if I tell someone not to come in my home, and there's tens of thousands of you out there, and police are on the way, and they're gonna get through that door before police or before backup comes, I'm not waiting on police, sir. So just be realistic when you begin to speak about these things. Don't be blind just because you want your way, or just because we have a difference of opinion. People have died because people want to turn a blind eye because we feel the same way as I feel the same way about them Negroes. So yeah, let them get killed. No. And they did what they had to do because those people were looking like they were going to pose a threat to hurt people, whether they had guns or not. They will kill people with their bare hands. And that's what they were coming to do. So don't do that, Charles. Put yourself in that situation first. Because if they was coming to your house like that, I promise you, if you don't bust your gun and you got one, then that means you was waiting on everything that they had to come. And you can say the Lord wanted you to be sacrificed if you want to, but you're not going to be living after them 10,000 people get a hold of it.
Let me go to our Badger. He wanted to jump in, and Charles, coming right back to you, brother.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. So I found what Charles was looking up, which means most other Americans are also going to believe this. USA Today put out a thing, news article. I think there's also a video. Yeah, there's a video too, saying that the FBI Counterterrorism Division, and that the FBI found no guns during the riot. So now there's news being put out there where the FBI is saying fact check. Altered photo shows religious leaders praying over golden Trump statue, and all these other kinds of things. And according to USA Today, it says that only one shot was fired. However, if you look at all the other evidence, I guess all them people are lying, or they're just bragging, or whatever someone wants to believe, about admitting that they were carrying guns and everything else. So once again, we're coming down to this confusion and illusion stuff. Okay, I don't, if you did or didn't, Charles, I'm just saying that there are other people that think like you. That apparently all those photos of people that were taking pictures of people with ARs, they're all fake. They weren't there on January 6th and things like that. Because, once again, the claim, Jill Sandburn, Assistant Director of the FBI's Counterterrorism Division, told a Senate committee that the FBI did not recover any guns at the January 6th Capitol riot.
And so, like you said, hold on for a minute. And like you said, Badger, it's a mystery how if there's no guns there, somebody got shot and killed. It must be the bullet must have fell out the sky, and from anywhere. It just happened.
Well, yeah,
it's just amazing.
One news channel says like 6 or more died, and now this one's saying only 1 died. So once again, news is confusing folks. We're going to fight and argue over nonsense instead of going after the people causing the problems to seek actual 100% truth. So I'm just going to mute my mic and let folks argue over it.
Good deal. Leonard, you wanted to say something?
Yes, and people have to understand that, one, you got people being convicted. Part of their convictions includes the weapons.
Absolutely.
Now, also, if you're interested, the FBI is looking for some assistance in identifying people that were who made this unlawful entry into the Capitol building. Let's first of all, unlawful entry into the Capitol building, committed various criminal violations. Destruction of property, assaulting law enforcement personnel, targeting members of the media for assault, and other unlawful conduct. So you all can call the FBI if y'all got that information, seen somebody, some of y'all friends, 1-800-CALL the FBI. There is a list of defendants at justice.gov. I'm going to try to get this over to your page.
Okay.
About the individuals that are defendants currently related to January the 6th.
Wow.
So you can go and check that out if you would like, as part of justice.gov on their page. And then they have the defendants listed and the charges that they're being charged with.
Absolutely. Cassandra?
And we have, just remember, 140 officers were injured. I don't care if you say you didn't see any guns. How did they get injured? Where did you? 140 officers were injured. So how did they get injured? I watch people taking all kinds of poles and stuff and hitting people with them. And I mean, where were you? Where? I mean, I'm not talking to anybody in particular, so it's in the air. Where were you when we saw all of this taking place in front of our eyes? Not anything pre-taped live. It was live. We watched that live.
Exactly.
140 people hurt, 5 dead. Whether it was immediately at that insurrection or whether they committed suicide a day or so after the insurrection, it was because of the insurrection that these people ended up dead. So I don't, we can try to fancy it up and make it whatever we need it to be to satisfy us and to keep us doing what we do. Keep doing what you do. But the truth is going to stand all by itself.
Absolutely. Friday, good morning. How you doing this morning? Unmute yourself there, Friday. Friday. You gotta hit your mute button. Gotta hit your mute button. I'm gonna come back to you, sister. I'm gonna come back to you. Rico, are you back with us? Rico, you there? Pete, talk to me, brother.
Man, why we acting like we ain't never seen children play rough on the playground? Stop being so hard on Brother Child.
Okay.
Okay. Look, alrighty then. Was it an insurrection? What was it? What was it, Charles? Pete, what was it, man?
Well, Cassandra, can you read the definition of insurrection real quick?
Okay. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I just turned it from it. Insurrection is the violent attempt to take over at that point of a government or authority. The violence.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Did we see that with our eyes?
I think we did, sir. I think we did.
I
sir.
think so.
Is that what we saw? Did we see a group violently acting in contention of their government body?
Yes, sir. I think we did.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What they call that by definition again?
Insurrection.
Insurrection.
Now, military mind, fighting mind would say that many people with a determined mind to take life, use brute force in its ultimate form, seemed to be lacking because there was enough of them to storm the building and kill everybody in the building. If that was the actual objective, it makes no sense that we don't have more loss of life. If that was the intention, to just look, as soon as we see them, gun down the enemy and kill everybody. It would have been I think it would have been a whole lot more loss of life.
Yes.
If that was the actual objective. I think what happened, what I think happened was they were utilized for somebody else's predetermined goal or objective. And crowd mentality, it only takes one or two people to start hollering, whatever against the other side. And then the chant starts growing and starts growing and starts growing in this mob mentality. So you get 12 people to start doing something in a crowd like that, it's easy to steer the whole herd right where you want it. And then again, how intelligent was the crowd? I mean, how intelligent? What was the intelligent people? If you watch the full footage of it, they're the ones who start leaving. Did you see all the people who were walking in the opposite direction?
Exactly. Exactly.
Hey man, I gotta hear Friday. What happened to Friday?
Intelligent body.
Exactly.
Make sure you put that link that I put there, Raheem, so people can go and look at those individuals that have been formally charged by the government. And look at the charges. There are weapons in the charges.
Yeah. That's good. Let me go to Willa. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. We're talking about the insurrection. Was it an insurrection or was it just a misunderstanding as to what was happening on January the 6th?
Well, I don't think it was a misunderstanding, Raheem. I just think you had a bunch of people who were setting out to do what, and somebody said that they don't believe that Donald Trump was the cause of it, but he may not have been the cause of it, but he was the temptation of it. See, there's always a root cause to why certain things happen. So if you want to fix something, you got to always go back to the root cause of something. And what he actually did was he set the fire up underneath a lot of people that had it in them already. So other people even though we march as one objective, everybody don't carry that same objective. And you could utilize church with the same thing. We all go to church supposedly for one objective, but that's why the Bible said, believe me not, it's a temptation. The temptation is not the sin, He gave you something that he already knows about you. He knows about me, Raheem. He knows about you. He knows about each and every last one of us on this line. Believe that. And he's going to utilize not only other people, but he's going to utilize the people that are close to you to allow you to do something real stupid and ignorant. And that's what happened, Raheem. You know, Donald Trump said, first of all, he lied, said he's going to be there. He wasn't there. So he just riled up some people that wanted to do what they wanted to do anyway.
Yeah.
You know that. And that's what happened.
Good deal.
So we can look at that as an example, you know, to try to steer away from the enemy using me to do something stupid. Because it only takes a second for you to do something stupid and you'd have lost your life for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm right.
Good deal. Good deal. Charles, what's on your heart, brother?
I mean, I don't get it how, and I think me and Badger, we're talking about that right now, how you all trust the government in certain things, but you don't. Now, one thing says people were charged and not convicted. You know, we know how police and anybody else put up charges to get people to agree. We know this. Whether black or white, police do that. I don't understand how you all even trust certain things that are said by the government, and then other things you don't trust. You do trust some things, and you don't trust some things. Come on in. I got a patient. Have a seat right this way.
Okay, I'll come back to you, Charles. Friday, what do you say? What do you say about this whole situation? Is it was it an insurrection, or was it just a huge misunderstanding? Oh my God, it wasn't what you think it is. Friday, what are you saying? Good morning. How you doing this morning? Friday having some issues with a system over there, I think. And Leonard said he wanted to hear from Friday this morning too. And Friday, your line is acting up on us. Your line is acting up. Unmute yourself, Friday.
Okay, I think we're in business now.
There you go. There you go. What do you think it was? What is this whole January 6th? How do you view this whole January 6th situation?
It was a riot. It was, you know, I feel like a lot of people wanted to like minimize it. It was interesting of the language that was chosen. It was still being treated very delicately in comparison to very lesser types of quote unquote protests happening, that they chose different words to make it seem much more treacherous than what it was. I mean, even when it was a, silent protest, Trump had the whole military handling people roughly. So it's just very interesting that with a very specific narrative that was given, some would say a call to action, if you would, by the president at the time, because he wanted to have a temper tantrum for losing, riled up enough people to come to overturn or attempt to overturn the very government that they were trying to say, that they want to support at the same tongue in cheek of if Trump had won. So I just think that it was very telling. I think it was to what we're really dealing with here in the United States, how much of unity we've not accomplished as a whole, as one United States, not even from a race perspective, but then also we need to pay attention to that. And those that participated in that are, in my opinion, enemy of the state.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cassandra, what's on your heart? Cassandra, you there? I think we may have lost Cassandra. Pete, talk to me, brother.
See, what we're dealing with.
What we're having here is a lack of communication.
In the abridgment of right and wrong. See, my brother Charles was, if I understood him correctly, was getting ready, or he was trying to talk about how us believing in the government. Well, individuals believe the government that some improprieties happen. The government is saying no improprieties happen. So here's the belief. But now let's just go back. Have there been improprieties in the electoral process? I say yes. There's been improprieties in the electoral process ever since they had one. And history will show that. And we can go in specific areas and prove it. Now, with this last incident, there happens to be a body that filed for an indictment in the federal grand jury with some form of documentation that looks like proof of some forms of impropriety. They blocked it. They shut it down. They wouldn't present it to the grand jury regarding the last election and the impropriety. But the problem is, if we don't have improprieties in the system and we do all we can as a system, functioning as a system and a governing body over and in the system to keep all improprieties out of the system, then we can alleviate most of this confusion, unnecessary opinions, biases, prejudice, and choosing sides on an issue that shouldn't exist in the first place.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it goes right back to the fortitude of the society fulfilling its obligation according to its mission statement and purpose for why it has come into existence to be a republic and a society in the first place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Rico, talk to me, brother.
Man, I just gotta listen now. I'm so far out the loop, man. I had another situation going on, and the comment that I had from about an hour ago, I'm definitely thinking it's not too relevant right now. So I'm gonna go on and pass my time to the next person.
Okay, Leonard, talk to me, brother.
I'm glad, like, people, the truth is what it's about. It's the evidence. I ain't even gonna get mad until I see some evidence. I ain't even got no opinion until I see evidence. Here's the evidence. That's the thing. People are talking about, somebody told them. They don't care what nobody told you. What other evidence do you have? You stated a fact. I went and found the evidence related to the fact you stated. It's called a fact check. This is why it's so unpopular, because the people who usually lie and mislead can't stand people that check the facts. I was doing a comparison between headlines from different platforms. I looked at a Fox platform and I looked at an MSNBC platform. Extreme differences, not including grammar mistakes and things of that nature, but even from the headline, the strategy to mislead. So it's not that people don't, well, you don't trust and you don't, man, it ain't about no trust. You can say what you want to say. It's up to me to go look for the evidence of what you said. Cognitive dissonance.
Yes.
That's what that is. When you knowingly go the opposite way of the revealed truth and evidence.
Absolutely.
For whatever reason you're doing it, it's your reasoning. But this is what that's called. Here I am telling you the truth, but for some reason, you don't want to accept that. And you'll go forward and make your decisions based on the lie or the mistruth. That's your fault. It ain't nobody else's fault. It's your fault.
Exactly. I'm looking at the clock, man. We're going to get out of here in just a second, but I want to go to Toya with a T before we get out of here. Toya, what's on your heart, sis? Toya, you there?
Oh, I thought you said me. I wasn't sure. You know what? I will tell no story. I saw something strange the other day. I seen another grown man tickle another grown man. The world coming to an end, y'all.
What?
Let me tell you. I got to tell my nephew this all the time. And it's only because I'm a realist. You a man. And if you listen to another man tell you to do something that leads to a path to destruction, then what should I call you again?
Oh, you don't do it, Toya. Toya, don't do it, Toya.
You know, I'm not going to be sitting up here putting no responsibility. Listen, my nephew couldn't come to me and tell me, oh, well, Auntie, yeah, how was I dealing with this? Let's say it wasn't Trump. Let's say it was our folks, right? That went to the insurrection talking about what they going to do. And it came a whole big deal. I'm on them. How dare you? That ain't your role. That ain't your place.
Yeah.
You understand me? You need to take that same energy over here with your family. So this whole insurrection thing, I will not accept from another grown individual about it being anybody other responsibility other than them. I don't want to hear it was Donald Trump. I don't want to hear that. Nope. Now, that little boy that went and shot up Kenosha, his mama took him. But we're not going to take Trump made them grown. I'm not going to do that. Especially if you call yourself a man. Don't play with me. But anyway, I thank you so much, Raheem, for the platform. I love y'all so much and everything y'all bring to offer, man. Let me tell you something. We ain't breaking nothing. We breaking yokes around here. Because you're going to get the truth on the morning with DKM. I love y'all.
Hey, love you as well, sis. Love you as well. Rico, what's going on, sir, at 3 o'clock today?
If you missed today's broadcast and would like to see it or hear it in its entirety like I missed it, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dklmediagroup.com.
Good deal. Willa!
Hey, Raheem, I'm just waiting.
Willa, what?
I really wanted to do it in the middle of the conversation.
It would have been.
To bring the Holy Spirit, baby.
What happened, man? I wanted to ask, man, what's been going on since
Willa should have just fell through with the binding and rebuking.
We got to talk. We got to talk about the insurrection on January the 6th, and we had a slightly difference of opinion on what we thought about that insurrection and what really happened. I played the clip of Trump when he was sending everybody there. And it started, man. It's just open the door, brother. It opened the door. Willa, pray us out, sis.
Amen. I'm ready, Raheem. I'm ready. Father God in heaven, let us go to the throne of grace with absolute confidence and boldness this morning. Father God in heaven, Lord, we just thank you. We thank you, Lord, for allowing us to get up to an opportunity, oh Lord. An opportunity to learn something about ourselves, oh Lord. And definitely learn something about you. Father, we know, God, and that you let us know what the things that we don't do right by allowing the Holy Spirit to be encamped around us every day. Lord, touch each and every last one on this line. Father, you said that there's power in our tongues. There's power of life and there's power of death. And Father, we believe that. We stand on your words and your promises, and we don't trust no man. Father, we trust you. Yes. Father, we give it all to you. We know that you are better to us than we are to ourselves. We thank you, oh Lord, for what you do in our lives. Thank you for keeping us. Keep protecting Raheem and the Morning Glow team. We love you, honor you, glorify you. In Christ Jesus' name, amen.
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 Amen. Look at here. We can end now, y'all. We can end now. It's been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your morning. It is now 10:04. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. Now we shine some of this light in you for the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other and please be blessed.